What's good, everybody? It's DSA Above the Rim back once again, starting the show. It's the 4th of July special. We got a special guest. We got a great show for you guys. We got a couple people coming in later. So let's have a good time, y'all. What's good, everybody? I got my main man, Sekou, got next in the building. What's up, man?
What's good with it, everybody? Tonight's gonna be a huge show. It's gonna be a great show. Happy 4th of July to everybody on the panel and in the chat. Super excited for the show. It's gonna be a great one.
No doubt, no doubt. Happy 4th to everybody in the chat. Make sure you guys like the video. I got my main man, Detroit Drew, in the building. What's good?
What is good, peeps? Happy 4th of July, man. I got my Drew Weiser right here. We got a special guest on. It's going to be a good show for you guys today. I can't wait to talk some hoops, man. J-Mo, man, let's hop right into it, buddy.
You know it, man. You know I got my main man from Twitter. Y'all might know who he is. Nick, he got his own little basketball show. Make sure you promote that, man. What's good, man? How you doing, man? Thanks for
coming I'm really excited to actually be able to talk basketball with other people that's not myself, because when I record podcast episodes, talking to myself gets really boring sometimes. So I'm really excited to actually be able to talk to other people.
Yeah. I mean, we all make our own videos, so we know how it is to talk to yourself and then have to re-listen to yourself over and over and be like, all right, how good was myself this time?
Right.
But Detroit Drew, you want to give a shout out to people in the chat?
Before we do, Nick, you can just call us the Tinder of basketball shows. You can swipe right or left on us later after the show, depending on how good we do.
Yeah, okay, for sure.
What's up? What's good, everybody, man? Make sure you guys do come in, like the video. Go check out Nick on social media and go check him out on Spotify. I see we got Pistons Talk in the building. You guys go subscribe to him, man. He's still getting his YouTube channel up and running, but he's got good content over there. Kyle Webb, PD Sports, Noshi Stone, King Line, and Joey so far. Make sure you guys come in and like the video and let us know that you're in the chat when you get here.
All right, man. We gonna start off with the first question. So it's been a lot going on with the NBA, and we discovered, we heard some inklings and some rumors that maybe the other teams that weren't going to make the playoffs were going to want to play, and the Pistons was interested. But now it's been confirmed that the plan for another bubble in Chicago for 8 teams, the Pistons will be participating in the training camp. It'll be a training camp before, and then they'll play actual games. So what are your thoughts on them just participating in this whole thing in general? We're going to start with you, Drew.
Well, first thing that comes to mind is they're going to have a bunch of non-playoff teams in this thing. So what are they going to be playing for? And you don't really want to have a shot at giving a team like, I don't know, the Warriors a better shot at getting the first overall pick, because we all know they really don't need it, but they're in a good spot because of the season. But you have to have something to play for, whether if it's cash consideration for the players, extra salary cap, an extra draft pick, something in return, so that way the teams who are in tank mode for the last 2 to 3 years are going to have something to play for. I'm sure the NBA will figure something out. Hopefully it'll be good. I don't really know what to expect from the Pistons. I would go ahead and say that there will be no Derrick Rose and no Blake Griffin playing. I think that's a pretty safe assessment. But people like Luke Kennard, who need the time to play, but he's got knee issues right now. Are you going to play someone like Luke Kennard, who still needs the development process? He still needs to get reps and stuff out there. But do you really want him going out there and playing in non-competitive basketball games right now? I don't know. But in terms for the younger guys like Sekou, Mihailuk, Bruce Brown, you can finally bring up Jordan Bone, Dante Hall, Luke King, and give them some minutes and let them work with Dwayne Casey, because this is time that we missed through the regular season where they never got called up to get meaningful minutes. Dante Hall got called up for the 10-day contract right before the league shut down. Jordan Bone was on the team for a minute, but they never really got meaningful minutes. They played every here and there. This would have been an opportunity for Dwayne Casey to get some time one-on-one with these guys, to coach them in games and really show him what he wants him to become and what he wants him to do. So for the developmental stage, it's huge. It's going to be on the players at the end of the day to determine how hard they're going to want to play and how meaningful it's going to be. Something like the All-Star game that they kind of tried to fix this year, which is probably one of the best All-Star games I've watched in the last 10 years or so, where at the fourth quarter, it was the first team to 24 in honor of Kobe. Money went to charity. It was awesome. They actually played. You're going to have to do something similar like that so these young guys can play, but it's going to give these G Leaguers plenty of time to make a name for themselves. Rather, if it's for the Pistons, some guys we don't even know about yet, getting some meaningful minutes and making a name for themselves, or if it's someone from another team. People like Christian Wood, who a lot of people didn't really know about last year. Someone like that who has the potential is going to get an opportunity to play here and really make a name for themselves. So I'm very interested in it. It's not going to be as good as basketball as it's going to be in Orlando, but if it means Detroit basketball's back, I'm all in for it.
Yeah, no doubt, man. I just feel like that. I don't think that these are professionals we're talking about. So, and they're having a training camp beforehand. So this is gonna be some good basketball. And you got teams like Trae Young and the Hawks. You actually think he's gonna be out there just playing around? No, he's gonna be out there dropping 40 if you're playing around, and he's gonna embarrass you. The competition, I think, is gonna be very hyped up, especially because they actually having these players train first, and then they're gonna play. I don't know if they what they have to play for, because I don't think they should actually be playing for anything. It's just to play some games. And I don't know if these games will even count towards the regular season. I think this is just a separate thing that they're doing themselves to get reps in with their team. So I think like it's something like they're like, well, yeah, y'all trash teams on the side. Y'all can do what y'all want. If y'all want to have y'all little party over here and play some basketball, go ahead. But the playoff teams that actually matter are going to be having the real season over here. But I do think the level of basketball is going to be high. You got to remember, like, the drought, how long it's been since they've hooped. And then I just keep thinking about the training. I think that this is a very, very good thing, especially for the Pistons. And, yeah, Blake Griffin and Derrick Rose won't be playing. But I think that if we look at it, a lot of the young players are going to get minutes. I'll definitely want Luke Kennard out there playing. It's nobody that I don't want playing besides probably Blake and Derrick Rose. Everybody else go out there and play, because the way I see it, why aren't you playing? Like you would have been playing regardless, or you would have played more games. You need to be playing basketball. Like you're a professional basketball player. I don't think they're going to force anyone, but why wouldn't you want to play in this little tournament if you're one of these teams? It's people who need to showcase their talents, of course. But it's also people who want to stay sharp for the season, and at the end of the day, they just want to play some basketball. So I think for the Pistons, it's very good. We're going to see, like you said, Louis King and Sekou and Jordan Bone. We're going to see a lot of the young players playing. But I know that I think Luke Kennard and Bruce Brown is, they're going to be out there. Christian Wood is going to be out there. Maybe not as much as Luke Kennard and Bruce Brown, but I think they're going to throw Seawood out there for a little bit. But we got the Hook Cam in the building. What's good, everybody? Happy July 4th, everybody. Make sure you guys like the video. We got my man Bravo in the building. What's up, man?
What's going on, everyone? Can you guys hear me?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we can hear you. We can hear you. So, Nick, let me know your thoughts on what they're doing with this whole 8-man bubble and the Pistons being added and the training camp beforehand. What's your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I guess I'm the minority here because it's dumb. The whole idea, I think, is really dumb. I mean, like, I get it. So here's the thing: is we don't even know, like, it hasn't yet been confirmed that, like, it is for sure going to happen, because what they're going to want to do is wait. I believe in the Jackie McMullen report, she said they want to wait like 1 or 2 weeks until after the Orlando bubble actually starts. Like they'd want to just kind of see how that goes in order to see if they actually want to do it in Chicago. So let me tell you this, as somebody who lives here, as somebody who lives in Chicago, please don't do that. We're sort of going on this, like,
you live there.
Yeah, well, no, like, I would be super excited that they'd be playing here, but listen, man, we kind of are starting to hit like another incline in cases, and I know that it would be, a closed campus similar to what they have in Orlando. So the safety concerns are just still there. I think it's not obviously as bad as Florida, but Illinois isn't doing great right now. As far as like basketball goes, why? What's the point here? Because like Drew said, if we're playing for something, great, I'm probably for it. My initial thought is maybe they're going to have these count towards the regular season, and this is going to be a way that we can better solidify draft position for these teams. For a team like Detroit, that matters a lot because they're sitting at the 5th best odds to land the number 1 overall pick. I believe they're 1 game out of 4th. Super, super important. But if they're starting in September, the lottery is August 25th. You know what I mean? So the lottery, like the draft stuff, is out the window. As far as what players would be playing, I think it was Lazarus Jackson pointed this out. Why would players like Langston Galloway, why would players like John Henson, Derrick Rose, Blake Griffin, like, why would these guys play? There's literally no reason for them to. Why are we putting all of these players' health in sort of this weird jeopardy position when you could easily just have those mini camps at home? Like, the Pistons could just stay in Detroit. Each team could stay in their respective city. And at the very least, we could have like the Cavs come up to Detroit on a plane or a team bus, and they just have like a little mini camp there. It just feels like, especially considering whatever they have in Chicago likely won't really be televised on like a national level. What exactly are we doing here? I think it's great that, you do need to have some sort of organized basketball. You cannot have these 8 teams having a March to December layoff. Like, that can't happen. That's going to really negatively impact your career. So there needs to be some sort of structure, especially for the young guys who kind of need to know what that feels like. You need to play basketball in some sort of an organized fashion. I don't know that this is the way to do it. I just think is there like, what's the reason? You know what I mean? I think it's dumb.
I think the reason is so they can play basketball.
Yeah.
Well, right, but you can do that if you're just doing like 5-on-5s. You can do that within your own team, because like if they're not playing for anything, why is the
competition level to be better? They want to play against each other.
There's nothing to play for.
You got players who play at Rico Hines in the summer. Like, this is just a highly advanced version of pickup basketball, just like the Orlando bubble is, because you can just cancel that entire season as well. I just think they're doing it so these people can play back. Like, these teams want to play basketball. These teams that were like demanded, like, they want to play basketball. That's why they're doing it. They're like, we want to play basketball. We would rather play it against some of the other teams. I don't think they ever said that they wanted to like make it mean something for draft position. That's a whole nother conversation. But I think these teams desperately want to play basketball. They don't want to like feel left out. Well, they get to play and get better, and we don't get to do anything. It's obviously it matters. Now, it hasn't been confirmed yet, but if it's on the table, I'm just surprised that they would even do that, considering what's going on with the Orlando bubble. But I think it's because these guys want to play basketball. It's as simple as that.
I guess, but even Dwayne Casey himself was like, we would rather do our own thing. Like, when they were doing this, so like,
why are the Pistons in this bubble then?
That's his thing. Is like,
they're not forced. So obviously Dwayne Casey and somebody else feels different. Troy Weaver's like, I don't know what you're talking about. Like, we're doing this because we're in this bubble. If Dwayne Casey did not want to do this, we wouldn't be in the bubble. I guarantee you that.
Well, so, I mean, because it's not official.
They can't force us to do it.
No, you're 100% right. But at some point, it's kind of like, well, if everybody else is going to be doing this, maybe there's going to be some financial penalty for us not going and refusing to do it. I'm sure if it was like a major health concern, so.
They could just pick another team. They're like, Pistons don't want to do it.
Who the hell would they pick? There's only 8 other teams, so like they couldn't.
I mean, they pick one of them teams though. Like, it doesn't have to be
if it went that far, you're gonna look at it like out west, like San Antonio. They're gonna be in Orlando, but they're not making the playoffs. I mean, it's one of those.
Okay, I get what you mean. Okay,
so it's like someone like San Antonio who develop young players want to do it. And again, I don't know what Pop's thinking over there, but something like that, they might bring one of those guys over if that is the case. I don't even know if they'll get that far, to be honest with you, though.
Yeah, but Bravo, let me know what you think about this whole situation. What do you think about the Pistons and this 8-man bubble and the fact that they will participate if it happens?
Okay, so speaking of me, I'm a physician. So I just came from the hospital from work. I've seen all people, by the way. The environment that those folks are getting set up for is definitely one of the best environments you can imagine in any people who have been exposed to COVID. So I assume that the NBA, Adam Silver, took the similar precaution to the English Premier League soccer teams. So you see the English Premier Leagues right now, they're really doing great. They restarting the season, and the season has been going on. They are doing successful so far. Great tournament, and they're really playing weekly games. So the players are going to get tested every week, I believe, or before every game, which is
every day. In the NBA bubble, it'll be every day.
I don't know about every day. I think
that's the plan. That's what they said.
Yeah, and in the Premier League games, they are getting tested every week, at least twice, I believe. So the Premier League so far has been very successful, and they built their success based on the German Bundesliga, which is another soccer for Germany. So I think the NBA already looked at the Premier League, and Adam Silver had a plan for that. So that's very important. Speaking of physician, you get tested every day. You got protocols. You cannot engage with anyone outside the gym. The same environment, the same coaching staff. Coaching staff were supposed to wear masks. You'll see Dwayne Casey is probably going to be wearing a mask at the bench. So I think it's a safe environment to begin with, and I think, trust me, this is from my personal opinion. Going in the bubble is safer than staying in Detroit and playing in Detroit. This is what's going to happen. Going in the bubble, playing with those folks in Chicago in an isolated environment is safer than playing at home, and even safer than training in your own fields in Detroit. And one more thing, and I think is a very key important thing we got to address in here, is this virus is not going to go away sooner. Trust me, this is going to go for a while. This season is going to be affected, and I can see next season is going to be affected. If you're worried about the environment and exposure this season, you should always worry about the same thing next season. Nothing's going to change. The NBA has to make a decision, has to let people play, and we have to come up with a bright environment for the players. So I think it's a good decision. I think it's very important. We need to let people go. And if people are getting infected in there, they're not really doing a good job. They're doing a bad job, basically. Staying in there and getting cleared
So you
every
you
day.
think that the games will be safe, but how beneficial do you think it'll be for the actual teams playing?
This is from my personal and medical perspective. The bubble is very safe. You're getting tested every day. You're getting interacting with a similar kind of people every week. They're always tested. So that's very important. Number two, I think it's very important for our development because we need this. All the guys need this. I believe that we're not going to play the big guys like Blake, Rose, Snail. I don't know about Snail, but Galloway, all these free agents,
Snail.
even
Don't say
Christian
big
Wood,
guys
I
and say
believe
Tony
he's not
Snell.
going
Don't
to
do
play.
it. But I know what you're
Yeah,
saying. Tony
yeah,
Snell
because
will not
Tony
be
Snell is
playing.
still on a
He's a super
contract.
vet.
Yeah. So I think those guys are not going to play, but I think the young guys, I believe 7 of our young guys are going to play in the tournament. So I think that's why I think you have to let people play. You have to let these guys develop, build their stamina. And part of it is also to see how this is going to reflect for next year's season. If this comes up as a total failure, how are you going to start next season without a vaccine? It's hard. And I think you can build your own success on the success of other Europe leagues. So this is how you do it.
Okay, okay. Sekou got next. What are your thoughts on this, man?
Well, look, there's two sides of the story with this one. The first side is yes, it's beneficial to our team. I would love to see Jordan Bone. He's one of my favorite players. I see a lot of potential in him. And me, Drew, JMO, and Bravo, we're on that Lewis King bandwagon. Craig Sword and Tradeon Hollins both said, he's a very, very good player. So I would like to see Jordan Bone. I would like to see Lewis King. I would like to see Dante Hall with some more minutes. I mean, there's people I want to see, but there's also the other side is, well, how hard are they going to be playing if they're playing for nothing? If they're playing for nothing, I mean, what's the point of playing? I don't think they're going to sit there. I don't think they're going to want to play. And I don't think it would be smart for them if they don't want to play to go put their own health at risk if they don't even want to play. So I I'm kind of with Nick here, even though there is two sides of the story, but I'm gonna have to take the side with Nick just because I mean they're playing with nothing. I mean for nothing I meant, but I mean of course it'd be entertaining, and I would love to see basketball being played. But if they're not playing for lottery position, or I mean, because then you're trying to lose. So I don't think there's a right way to do it. I don't think we really should. I wouldn't. I mean,
Let me ask, like, do you watch the Rico Hines games? They play more defense at Rico Hines than they do in the regular season. They play harder on those runs when it's just a group of NBA players. They play defense. They do it all. They hand checking. It's way more intense. So I'm trying to tell you, these guys, these are basketball players. They're not going to be going out there half-assing it. They're going to be playing hard and trying to, bust the other team ass. I'm just be honest with you. They're not going to just be out there just, we're just going to play and not care. Because let Lewis King and Sekou go out there. It might not matter until Sekou start postering somebody every game. So, like, I'm just saying, players are going to play hard, especially the ones that get the opportunity. Like I said, if the Hawks are one of these teams and Trae Young was to play, you really think Trae Young is not going to be playing serious? No way. Like, it's players that's going to be going after it. Like in the off season, I watch these players literally play harder in those off season summer runs than they play in the NBA, because the NBA is it's a glamour league, so you can't play real defense now. Like it's a whole lot of other things with that. But happy July 4th to everybody. We got Lou G in the building. We got the Detroit Sports Room in the building. What's good, everybody? Make sure you guys like the video if you haven't already. But we're going to move on to the next topic. And I want to talk about which young player on the Pistons do you think the training camp and the new games will benefit the most? We're going to start with you, Nick.
So I feel like the consensus answer here is going to be Sekou. I mean, that's probably going to be him, right? Like, I wish I could say Jordan Bone confidently. I wish I could say King confidently. But with Sekou, it's like, talk about a guy who just really needs to get his confidence up. And that's why, like, whenever he would get sent back down to Grand Rapids to play for the Drive, people were like, oh my gosh, like, it's not a death sentence. Like, he just needs to go put up 30 so he can come back to Detroit and kind of feel himself a little bit more. And I think that when you're put in this environment where you're playing against teams like Golden State, who, like, Draymond, Clay, and Steph, like, those guys aren't going to be playing, you know what I mean? You're kind of playing these teams that kind of stink, and it's like, it's going to be really easy for him as long as Casey actually gives him the opportunity to do it. It's going to be really easy for him to kind of get his confidence up if he's getting the touches that he needs. And he's actually, one of the biggest things with him is he needs to work on his passing. But it's kind of a two-sided thing because he's not a great passer. But the reason he doesn't pass so much is because whenever the ball's in his hands, it's like, well, he never actually gets the ball, so he has to go do something with it. But it's like, hey, passing is actually like go get like 4 assists. I'm good with that. So with him, I'm going to say Sekou just because I think there's going to be a lot of opportunity for him to actually make decisions and capitalize on opportunities that he's given with the ball in his hands.
Okay. Bravo, what do you think?
I think all the young guys probably going to get benefit from it. And starting, actually, interestingly, like, I'm going to say Sekou for sure. But I think the most one is probably like Jordan Bone and Luke King. Probably like these are really good people. I like also the fact that we have this new guy, Justin Patton. I think it will be interesting to see him. He's like a former first round pick. And I'd love to see him. I think he'd probably benefit from that. So you can name some of the key players. I don't know if this is really a chance to last time see Thon Maker. I could see him really leaving the Pistons. I'm hearing rumors that he's going to be probably not going to be renewed. Justin Patton is going to take over him.
Yeah, he sucks.
It's possible. I'm hearing that. So I was also looking at your last chances of looking some of the players. Dante Hall, is it really going to be has a future with the Pistons? I think we got to look at this guy too.
Well, okay, Dante Hall, that could be something. But Drew, what do you think? Who do you think? Which player you think is going to benefit the most? Which of the young guys?
I was going to go ahead and say Sekou, and I started thinking about it because
I'm surprised you all were going to say Sekou.
That's the obvious choice because he's going to be the most talented person on our team physically, and he's gotten a taste of what the NBA requires. You know, he's seen him. You can say he hit the wall, lost his confidence, whatever you wanted to. He had like that 10 to 15 game stretch where he played really well for us. And afterwards, you know, people were blaming Casey, blaming Sekou, depending on what side of the fence you were on. But now he knows what it takes to play in the NBA. So now he's motivated. Like, you see him almost on Instagram every day, just working out on his body and getting physically ready. But I think that the person that this is going to benefit most is 2 people, and it's actually Mihailuk and Bruce Brown. Because right now, only point guard that's going to be on the roster as of right now next year is going to be Derrick Rose, and we all know as long as he's here, he's going to be playing minutes. These guys throughout the last couple of off seasons have been tinkering with this, and both these guys have potential to be a point guard. I want to say, like, right now they're kind of like Rodney Stuckey types where they're tweeners. They're not really like, I don't even know really what position Bruce Brown really is, to be honest with you.
He's a shooting guard. He's a shooting guard, and I'm trying to tell y'all, he's a different version of Reggie Jackson. There's plenty of players of this type where you can give us 5 to 6 assists, but you're not a pure point guard. You're a shooting guard, but you can play point and you can play the 2.
But he's not a playmaker, Reggie, though. Like, Reggie could at least dribble.
No, Reggie's better at playmaking, but that's what I'm saying. Bruce Brown to me is a shooting guard.
My whole point for this right now, though, is what Bruce Brown's 6'5", 6'6", give or take. Mihailuk's around the same height range, somewhere around that ballpark.
Mihailuk's guys, I was gonna say Svi is 6'8", yeah.
Whatever, they're taller, you know. They both can dribble. Mihailuk was trying to play make a lot this year. He was just turning the ball over a lot. But again, we don't have a real point guard playing all the time. Like the Pistons' plan this year wasn't to have Derrick Rose be the starting point guard off the rip. Reggie missed half the season. We had to give I just blocked his name out of my head. What was his
Brandon
name?
Knight.
No, the other guy we let go.
Tim Frazier.
Tim Frazier. Thank you.
Tim Frazier.
Yeah, we
God.
gave him. He was starting for the Pistons at one point in time. Like think about that.
That's
Think about
disgusting.
that. But now, if they do this thing, they're going to have Mykhailiuk and Bruce Brown run the point if they're going to play there. Gives them more confidence in themselves to dedicate that. Because when you go back to that summer league where Bruce Brown was doing it, he got that triple-double, and he was passing the ball really, really well.
Point guard.
I think he has a legit shot of being a future point guard. Again, he's still got a ton of work to do. But he's only been in the league for 2 years. Not everyone comes in and can light up the league right away. It's going to take Bruce Brown a lot of time to get better. He's a second-round draft pick. I think that this is going to benefit him one of the most out of the team, to be honest with you.
Okay. Well, see, I was actually gonna go with Bruce Brown. I mean, you basically just stole my answer and everything.
So I'm
But I was gonna go definitely with Bruce Brown and Luke Kennard, who's who I was gonna say, because if Luke actually plays, if they let him, I think he's gonna play and just drop a cool 20 every game, and just it's not gonna be a big deal. But he needs to get out there and play some basketball, and it'll be good to for him to know that I still got it. So he can come back into the season because I do think 70-80% of these players on these teams are going to be playing in these games. So you're going to play some players that's in the NBA. You're going to be playing NBA players. And like I said, unless people get sick or something. I mean, we got Trae Young who months ago was doing illegal basketball matches at courts and stuff. Like this dude, it's just some people that just want to play basketball, man. So I think when it comes to Luke Kennard, it's good to know be like I still got it. And with Bruce Brown, I don't think he's a shooting guard. I think you can be a playmaker in this league without being a natural point guard. You know what I'm saying? And I think Bruce Brown is more of a playmaker than a natural point guard. Like I said, like a Reggie, even Lou Will, even Drew Holiday. Yeah, they're better now, but they've been in the league longer. But those guys they're not really they're just scoring type of two guards. I know Bruce isn't the best scorer, but he'll find his niche eventually. But I just think that it'll be very good for Bruce Brown, and let's see if he can be a backup point guard. Because like I said, I don't think he's a point, but it's plenty of shooting guards that can play backup point, like Lou Williams, like Drew Holiday, because Lonzo's the point. Drew plays backup point, and that's just how it goes. So if Bruce, the NBA can be positionless if you can do multiple things. So if you can play make, you can be at a different position, even if it's not your natural position. So I think with Bruce, this would be good to see how good he can be at playmaking, at least, or trying to run an offense, because he definitely struggled with it when we really needed him to be the starter, and then Andre left, and there was no Reggie, and basically Bruce had the keys for a few games, and it didn't really turn out how I expected it to. And I'm with you. I've said it. People don't like when I say it, but I think Speed's a better passer than Bruce. But he just turned the ball over. But I just think that he has a special talent, and that's what they're trying to use him. They're telling him to go out there and pass the ball like that. Trust me, because if they weren't telling him that, then he would have stopped doing it a long time ago. But they're trying to see what he can do, because him and Bruce was better. Him and Bruce, they got a chance in the summer league to run the point. And I know we need a natural point guard, but Speed and Bruce are, just like you said, they're big guys, and they can play mate. So I think and Luke Kennard too. I mean, he's 6'5", but I'm not saying he's a big guy. I'm just saying these guys can all play make, but they're not really point guards. You know what I'm saying? So I think for those guys, getting the opportunity to have time running the offense, it'll be good. It will definitely be good for them. Just
Even
like
a guy like Kyrie
point
Thomas
is not limited to guard. Yeah, Magic Johnson was 6'9". LeBron James. I'm with you on that. It's not always limited to a guard position, but there's some great guards in this league that are smaller guards, and they're pretty good. But Sekou got next, man. What do you think about this whole situation, man?
Well, look, I'm gonna say 3 players here. It's kind of out of the water. I'm gonna say Justin Patton, number 1, just because I think Justin Patton can be a great player. He's just never gotten the chance. I'm gonna say he's never gotten real valuable minutes. He's never, being handed the role that he's being given now. So I think he's gonna really benefit from that. I think Sekou, because the reason why Sekou is kind of the consensus pick right now is because Sekou has only been playing basketball for 6 or 7 years, and I feel the more experience that Sekou gets, the better he will get. So it's just experience, and the better he gets. So if he's playing 30 minutes a game like he should be, he's just gonna get better as it goes. All this kid needs is experience, and he will be one of the best players in the NBA. I'm confident in saying that. Um, Justin Patton and Kyrie Thomas. Look, Kyrie Thomas, he was balling out when he got the chance in those last like 2-3 games. There was one game where he at the end of the game, I don't know, he got some like 8 minutes.
Man, Kyrie Thomas balled out in the playoffs. If you give me 1 minute, I'm gonna score. Like that's how he's been when he's been injured.
Exactly. That's exactly what I'm saying. Like I saw him. Like I think it was the last like 3 games, somewhere around that span. At the end of the game, he got like 8 or 10 minutes, somewhere around that, and then he just balled out, and then I just didn't see him again. I'm like, come on. Like I think Kyrie Thomas is a great player. Justin Patton, when he's getting that role, I think he can develop. And Sekou, like I've said a million times, I view him, and I think he'll be the 2026 most valuable player. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Sekou Doumbouya, Justin Patton, and Kyrie Thomas.
I would say I do want to talk about Kyrie Thomas specifically. I know we always bash and attack the Pistons for how they treat young players, how they give up on players, and they let them go. But if I'm looking at it objectively from what's been going on with his whole career, it looks like the Pistons are really high on this guy. Like even this year after he came back from the foot injury where I think he had like grade 3. After he came back from that, I mean, they immediately put him in the G League for like literally like 1 game, saw him drop like 20, whatever it was. It was like, all right, yeah, you coming back up. So I think the Pistons, I think Dwayne Casey or somebody in that organization is a fan of Kyrie Thomas because he's not getting a lot of minutes. He's not getting a lot of opportunity, injuries and a lot of things have been going on. But the Pistons really like him. In the summer league, he got a lot of tick, and he was very, very good. And y'all know I've been high on Kyrie Thomas since we drafted him because I watched him play in college. So I knew he was a solid player. So I think that the Pistons are very high on Kyrie Thomas, and I think they're going to keep him around. And this definitely will be very good for him. But I just hope that Sekou just dunks on I just need him to post around at least one person. I just need him to polarize at least one person. So you know what I'm saying? So do you guys want any veterans at all playing in this game?
No.
That's what I thought, man. So I did want to talk about because we recently had the Red Wings have a top pick and then not get the picks to be selected. So
here we go.
Yeah, man. With the draft coming next month, it's supposed to be in August, right? Where do you think the Pistons will actually select? When the lottery comes, where do you think the lottery balls are going to fall? Where do you think we actually going to pick? And when you think that, who do you think we're going to pick? So we're going to start off with you, Bravo.
This is a tough one. Every one of us can throw a chance and see what happens. I'm going to say this is how I feel. I feel like we're going to end up either 2, 4, or 7. That's one of those 3. And if you ask me, I kind of believe we're going to end up 2.
Who you taking with that second pick, Bravo?
I hope I'm right.
You think we're going to end up 2? Okay.
I think so. I kind of hope so.
Who you picking, Bravo? Number 2 spot.
With the second pick, it depends on who goes first. I mean, if LaMelo goes first, I think
I'm about to say, man, LaMelo ain't going first. You got to put out that good energy. You got to be LeVar.
Yeah. I mean, I think we should go with Melo if we get the second chance to draft him. I mean, but if we don't, really, I can see us go with Anthony Edwards.
I mean, you can't just pass up on him, though. Yeah, that's the thing.
I don't think one of those two.
This is my thing. We can't pass up on 2 Melos. I don't care. Look, I told you how much Anthony Edwards is going to be he's gonna be so good. If he goes to an East team, he might be an all-star good. That's how good he's gonna be. I'm still taking LaMelo because I need a point guard.
Yeah, 100%.
But I'm not passing up on two Melos, Pistons. Like, y'all got to do the second pick. Do not pass up on another Melo because you're gonna regret it.
Yeah.
But all right, Nick, what you think about this? Who do you think the Pistons are gonna select? Who do you think? Like, where do you think the balls are actually gonna fall? Like, because we've been speculating, but what do you personally think? Like, what's your personal opinion? What do you think is gonna happen?
I mean, never in franchise history have we ever moved up in the lottery, ever. So when everyone's like, will it into existence, like we're going to go like second overall. No, we're not. Like, it's not going to happen. I mean, it could. I'm just kidding. But like, it never has before. So like, I'm not really expecting that it will now. Statistically, we have the best chance at dropping to 7. We have a 26% chance to drop to 7, 19% to drop to 6. We only have like a 2% chance at 5. So I've been for the last like month kind of anticipating that we're going to go between 6 and 8. That's just kind of what I assume. At that point, literally, if it's Killian Hayes, if it's Halliburton, whatever point guard is right there, that's your man. And when Troy Weaver's like, well, we're going to look at like, the best player and the best competitor, just say point guard. It's okay to admit that we need a point guard. I promise.
Think you're right.
No. That is Stanley Johnson energy.
Obi
I don't want.
Obi, I'm telling you, I think we had 7 and some player like Obi Toppin or some players there, and he's better than the point guard on the board. They gonna take that player.
I agree with that because Ed Stefanski said like we're gonna go for the best available player. So you're 100% right. Like that could end up being Obi. I know that most here's my thing. I don't care who we pick. There's one player who I'm like, if listen, man, if we draft James Wiseman, I'm out. I'm going to the Kings. I'm going to the Bucks.
It don't matter how good he is.
Oh my God, I don't care. And that's not to say that James Wiseman's like going to be bad. Like for sure, like James Wiseman could be great. He could pan out. I'm not saying he wouldn't. Like go to Charlotte. If he comes to Detroit, I'm done. I'm done with the whole center thing. Can we start in the backcourt?
You don't get rid of Andre Drummond and then draft James Wiseman.
And then just like, fuck it, let's just get laid. Like, this guy looks pretty good. No, I'm good.
Like, that's just a smack to all Pistons fans will probably riot at that point.
Oh, man.
That will be terrible. But, Drew, with the draft lottery looming, where do you think the Pistons are going to select and who do you think we're going to take?
Well, whatever happens, we're not going to get hosed more than the Red Wings did since the playoff team was the first overall pick.
True.
However, I do think it's really, really, really dumb that we right now are sitting at the 5th pick. It's not where we're going to be drafting because, like you said, we have like a 2.7% chance of staying there. And I was all for the NBA doing the retool to the lottery because you want to abolish tanking, but this really hurts those teams that weren't bad enough to get a higher pick, but weren't good enough to make the playoffs. Why do we have almost the lowest percentage of getting the pick that we're supposed to have? Like that should be our 14% chance. Like how the Warriors have a 14% chance of getting the first overall pick, we should have like a 14 to get the 5th pick. That's what makes sense to me, but I have common sense. A whole lot of people don't. I don't know where we're going to be. I think they said we have like a 40% chance of going to the top 4. I don't know. There's not really a way to predict it. And if we do fall,
right, it's not about your prediction, man. It's
just
about
pick a number. Pick a number, dude.
It's about your gut feeling, man. If you was to bet on it, like you'd be like, yeah, we probably gonna end up here. And I did want to say, I don't even know why they canceled tanking specifically for the NBA because the NBA is a sport where you can get one player and your team good for the next 10 years.
Yeah,
because the Sixers hemorrhaged money for 7 years, and Sam Hinkie
they got their
out of the league. Well, how many gambles did they have to take in the process?
With you, I don't even really know what the Sixers was doing them years because I didn't really care. They were just trash. If they want to be trash, they want to be trash.
That's what the point of it is.
You can't build if you can't build your team by being trash. How do you build your team? Trash. All of the greatest teams, except for a few teams that already somehow had started, were like trash. They were trash, and they like if Cleveland can't beat Cleveland, look, they trash. They was trash and got LeBron, trash and got Kyrie. Now, Colin Sexton ain't neither one. But maybe if they be trash again, maybe they'll get Anthony Edwards. I don't know. Like, and maybe he's the guy.
If they draft Anthony Edwards,
Yeah.
I think the Cavs should be sold to somebody else because
Yep.
Dan Gilbert is an idiot.
I know they got a million guards, but you can't pass up on Anthony Edwards.
I
Dude,
know, but if that
okay.
happens, you're cutting ties with Darius Garland.
Yeah,
I don't care.
you have to take Darius Garland
I would
to do
just
that.
trade Sexton and
No,
just have
I would trade Garland instead of
Sexton
Sexton.
and have Darius Garland and Edwards. I don't want Kevin Porter off the bench, but he can play small forward. But my fault, Drew. Go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say, since I'm wearing the Detroit Drew custom jersey, I'll just go ahead and say the first overall pick because there's no
There you
go.
Okay.
We're going balls deep today. We'll be taking LaMelo Ball with the first overall pick, and then we can get the parade ready to go for the 2023 NBA championship ready to go in Detroit.
There you go.
Okay, man. Now looking at this, the lottery odds. This is my feeling. Make sure you guys like the video. Happy July 4th, everybody. I hope you're not burning yourself with the fireworks, man. Be safe out there. I hope you just eating good and listening to the show and enjoying everything. But I think the Pistons, I think one of you guys said they have like a 40% chance to get 1 through 4. Now I know 40% isn't 50%, but I'm willing to bet almost everything that we're gonna get anywhere from 1 through 4. Like now, if the NBA, gives us that middle finger, we're gonna get the 8th overall pick. It's gonna be 8. But so this is gonna be 1 through 4 or 8. But I really think it's gonna be 1 through 4. We're gonna be fortunate this time. And I'm look, man. All I know is LeVar keeps speaking into existence. So Melo's gonna get that. We're gonna get the first pick, and we're gonna take Melo. He's gonna go number 1 overall. People are gonna be very upset about it, but that's exactly how it's gonna happen. And I just think that that's what we should do. And if we were to get that 8th pick, then if Halliburton is there, you might have to take him because he might be there. I don't know if those other like Obi Toppin, or I might take Danny Avdija. Y'all know I'm way higher on him. Y'all think he's gonna be trash. I think he's gonna be nice. But maybe you take him. But like 8 and 9 is when you think about Halliburton or Kira Lewis or Danny Avdija if they make it. But I think we're gonna get the number 1 overall pick. And I just think it's gonna happen. I think we're gonna be somewhere 1 and 4, and the luck is finally gonna run out. I mean, work for us. I mean, Pelicans lost AD, and then they gave him Zion. I couldn't believe that happened like that, but it happened. Maybe it'll happen for us eventually. But Sekou got next. Where do you think we're gonna land?
All right. I would love to sit here and say, yeah, we're getting the first pick. Yeah, we're taking LaMelo. That's in a perfect world. It's not a perfect world.
That's not even in the perfect world.
Bro, look, we're gonna get the 7th pick, man. I hate to say it, but I know what's gonna happen.
You're supposed to be the positive. You're always the positive one. What will happen?
I know I'm always a positive one, but man, I just got that gut feeling. It's destiny, but it's not, dude. Look, we're gonna get the 7th pick. You don't even if we got the first pick and we pick LaMelo, I'm telling you, I would just, I don't even know what I would do. I would go insane, bro. And like I would love to sit here and say that, but we're gonna get the 7th pick, man. I know we are. And then what I would like for us to do with that 7th pick, I would like for us to trade down and pick Kyra Lewis with it, because I'm taking Kyra Lewis over Tyrese Halliburton. So I think if you fall out of if you get 7th pick, I think trading down might be the answer, and just trade down a couple spots, get a future pick, and take Kyra Lewis, who's a true point guard, which we've been missing for years. So that's what I would do. But we're getting the 7th pick, man. It sucks, but it's gonna happen.
Wait, so who do you think we're gonna take?
With the 7th pick, if we stay there, if Killian is still there, which I doubt he is, but if he is still there, I'll definitely take him.
Okay.
Okay,
doubt.
I'm gonna share with you something really, really quick. Okay, share the screen. This is the lottery odds again, teaching for everyone in the panel here. Take a look at it. There's useful stuff in here. Look at this. This is the lottery odds for the current team. Who has the chance in drafting the highest chance of landing at 7th pick? Watch it in here. 29%. The New York Knicks have the highest chance in landing.
Hold on, bro. Jimbo, you got to hit add to stream when you screen share it. There you go. And then hit the one all the way over in the far right to make it bigger. That's what she said.
Okay. Okay. Can you guys
Man,
see this?
this free. Hold up, bravo. Hold up. My fault. I'm sorry, y'all. I've been very disrespectful to everybody listening. It's Free Smoke Saturday, man. What's good, man? I just want y'all to remember that. Man. Go ahead.
Okay. Can you guys see it?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. Look at this. Who has the highest chance in landing 7th pick? Number 29%, then number 26%. The New York Knicks
probably be the
have
Knicks.
the highest chance of landing 7. Then comes us. Then comes, I guess, the Chicago Bulls, and then comes the Atlanta Hawks, and finally Minnesota. I don't know about the other teams; they don't have them here. So it's really like they played differently. I think our chances.
When you're looking at it, Golden State had. Let's just look at this. Golden State has a 47% chance to get 5. So you could almost say they're getting 5. So if they get 5, and then Cleveland has a 20% to just get 6 and a 27% chance to get 5, they're gonna get one of those two. If that happens, then we will probably end up in the top 5, and New York will probably get 7.
Yes, so I can see
Chicago will probably be in the top 5 too.
Yeah, I can see Golden State landing 4th, maybe or 5th, but I can see look at Cleveland. They have a high chance of landing 5 or 6. Look at Atlanta. They have Minnesota have a highest chance of landing 6 in here again, and the same thing with Atlanta. They have a high chance of 6. We have a high chance of 7, but we also have equal chances at the 4, which is really nice. The Knicks have really like 9% less than us. They have a chance of 6, like really low chance of landing the 6, but they have a really highest chance in landing the 7. So it's really like distributed this way. I don't know how he created this distribution, but this is just an education for you guys. I hope we're not going to land this number 7 pick. I hope we're going to land those picks.
Man, look, we not getting the 7th pick. I just feel like we're going to be like top 4 somehow. I really believe that we going to be top 4. Like, let me switch this.
Let's be optimistic.
No, I mean, I'm not. It's not even that I'm being optimistic. I just really think we're gonna be top 4. I really do.
Wait, let me say something real quick.
But yeah, go ahead.
Hey, look. If there's one thing that's destiny, and I just read a comment saying the NBA plays favorites. Yeah, they do. Yeah. Look at LeBron going to Cleveland, going to Ohio. Look at Amani going to Detroit. Look, Amani Bates is going to be a Detroit Piston, man. I'm telling y'all. It's going to happen.
You said, oh, Amani Bates is going to be a Piston? Oh, yes. That. Now, if you telling me we're going to get to the 7th pick now and we're going to get Amani Bates later, all right. Give me the 7th pick 100 times out of 100 because you don't want to get me started on the Amani Bates combo. We'll be talking for an hour. Like, that dude he's literally – like somebody was like, I'm gonna give Westbrook mentality to KD, and then that's what happened. So that guy is extremely special. Now there's something that I definitely wanted to talk about. I know y'all saw it, but I've always brought up LaMelo in Detroit because it actually is a connection here. I brought up how his manager and like his trainer is from here, and Melo's actually been here a lot for over the last couple years. And he was seen, spotted here again in Metro Detroit. And the thing with Detroit is once you come here in the stigma, because most people coming to Detroit that aren't from here, that's bad ball players, you're going to be in Midtown or downtown. You're not going to be nowhere in the hood or nothing. You're going to be Midtown or downtown. So that's what you're going to see. And if you're not Midtown or downtown, you're going to be in Metro Detroit or the suburbs. So your view of that is what I just said. Midtown, downtown, Metro, suburbs. So that's where Melo's been. So if somebody asks him about the city, I mean, he's been to he was at some of the basketball games like in the inner city, but he's been around and he's seen the nice areas and he's been there, taking pictures with the fans and stuff. He know what he's doing. You're not supposed to be taking no pictures with no Detroit, and we a trash team right now. You know what you're doing. Stop playing with us, man. And he's been here a lot. He's been training here. One of the kids that was on his team at Spire is from here. I think it's Isaac. I can't remember his last name, but he's gonna be really good. I feel horrible for not remembering his name.
So about Rocket Watts?
No, Isaac. Not Watts. Isaac. I forgot the center. The dude was like he was like 6'9". He was a freshman. I can't remember his name, but they both from Detroit. Yeah. So I think Melo has a lot of connections here. But I wanted to ask you guys, what do you think about Melo little mini appearance and the connection that he actually has with Detroit, because a lot of people don't want to believe that we'll get him, but he's been here a lot. We're gonna start off with you, Nick.
Yeah, I'm gonna have a really underwhelming answer. I think it's really cool, and like I've been really excited about it. Like in my tweets and stuff, some of it is kind of ironic because like there's nothing else for us to be excited about, and it's just like, oh, one of the best prospects in the draft is like spending a lot of time in Michigan, even though he's done it before. Well, let's just turn this into something that it's not. Like it's really fun. I wish I'm super excited for the possibility. I just wish that I didn't read so much into it. That's really it. Good. I'm happy that
he's into it because he know what he's doing, man. He's a ball celebrity. He know what he's doing. Why are you doing this?
That's true.
And because he's been here before. I know that. I'm not
100%.
He's been here, and I told people about that way back. So I've known he's been here, but it's just like the timing of it. Now I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I know
yeah.
in his ear, like, man, bro, I'm telling you, dog, it'd be cool here, man. You get the key. I know he's in his ear telling him everything, and he's been around this environment. So it's just, Benjamin Fall. His manager is from Detroit. All right, Seik, who got next? What do you think about this, man?
Well, I mean, how can I not be excited about it? Number one, but like number two, I see what you're seeing. I see what you're saying, Zamo, but I think people are reading a little too much into it. Like he was just shopping at Somerset. I think, like I honestly,
why is he here?
Huh?
That's what I'm saying. Why is he here? He only here.
His mom's from here.
Yeah, his mom lives here.
His mom is
First of all,
here,
put some respect in
here.
Somerset. That's a nice mall.
Oh, Somerset's amazing. Yeah.
I mean, I love Somerset. I'm not dissing any of that. I'm just saying. I mean, I think people might be reading a little too much into it, but JMO, you can 100% be right. There's two sides of the story. It's either you could be reading too much into it, or maybe somebody is in his ear telling, "Come on, man, come to Detroit. You know what you're doing," and he might know exactly what he's doing. This all might be part of his little master plan. So, look, I how could I not be?
Hey, I was gonna say something, man. We got my man CA3 in the building.
Hey man, check out my Dominique Wilkins jersey, man.
Hey, that's Dominique. Yeah, he can wear that. I'll give him a pass.
Hey, bro, I just wore a Trae Young jersey. Look, Trae Young.
As long as it's not Josh Smith, you're all right. That's the only jersey we don't accept in the show is Josh Smith. As long as you're not Josh Smith,
Dominique is acceptable. Like he's the only Hawk that I will accept, or a Vince Carter Hawk jersey, just because I love Vince Carter.
Come on, man. You gotta accept Trae. Trae's a baller. But yeah, definitely. I mean, how can I not be excited about it? So yeah, that's my answer.
Okay, Mr. CA3 Sports Talk in the building. Make sure you guys subscribe to his channel if you haven't already. We got special guest Nick with us tonight. Make sure you guys like the video. All right, CA3 man, what do you think about this? LaMelo, he was saying, in the city taking pics like a celebrity as usual, but he's here once again. But what do you think about this, man?
I mean, it's a good sign, that he's embracing the city. Let's say if he does land here, that's a good sign. It seems like he'll probably want to be here. So I think that's a good sign. I mean, I don't think it really helps. Of course, it doesn't determine the lottery position the Detroit Pistons will get.
Yeah.
But it's still great that if he were to come here, he will embrace the city. So I think it's a really good sign.
Okay. Drew, you got some thoughts on this, man?
It's really a big tease, man, because this isn't free agency. We can't really actively recruit him because we might not even be in a position to draft him. Now, it's completely different when we're interviewing him. Again, they're trying to cut down on tampering, but we're not doing anything to those lines. If he came here, he'd be really. I was
like, can you tamper with a player that's like not drafted?
I have no idea.
I would say you can't. No.
I don't know, right? But if there was a way,
he hasn't been drafted. Would do it. I mean, because I thought you could still meet with the players.
Yeah, but
yeah.
I don't know how that would work though, because like my mind's going to like college where like they bought him cars and stuff. But again,
Well,
it's
you
not
know,
going to apply here because
DSA
you're not recruiting him. You have to draft him. And the only thing that I can say about this is, I don't know how often any of you guys get on your channels or shows. When I talk about LaMelo coming to Detroit, there are a load of people who say he won't even want to come to Detroit. He doesn't really
They say
have
that
an
about
option.
everybody though.
Do you really think Zion wanted to go to New Orleans over the Knicks or the
Exactly.
Lakers or a bigger market than that?
Exactly.
And New Orleans is a pretty big market too, but it's not
Not
New
for
York,
basketball.
it's not LA. It's really a football town. But that ended up being probably the best fit for Zion. They got a good young core. They're going to give BI a lot of money this offseason. It's going to have another good punch for him to go with, and they got a young core to build around just from sacrificing AD like that. I'm not saying that Detroit will probably be the best fit for Melo, but Melo would be the best fit for Detroit, if that makes sense. He'll be coming here.
Okay.
You're going to give him two guards and Luke and Mihailuk, who can shoot damn near 40% from downtown. You're going to re-sign Christian Wood if you get Melo. You're going to give him a young forward with him and Sekou to work with. And then Blake Griffin and Derrick Rose are coming back, so he's going to have some veteran leadership. It can really take some of the burden off of both those guys, so that way Blake can sit out more, so Blake could be healthier. He's not going to be completely healthy because he is Blake Griffin, and I love BG. But we really needed a player like this. It's really just a big tease, though, because we don't have any control over it. We really don't.
I do think I'm being biased.
With the area now.
I'm being biased, of course, but I do think the Pistons are the best fit. Like, what's a better fit?
Yeah.
I'm willing to, like, if you think another team fits better, I'm willing to listen.
I mean,
Because,
if he gets drafted by the Warriors, he's pretty much getting a free ring
I'm
again.
gonna say the Warriors.
I mean, the Warriors would be a horrible situation for his development. Like, it'd be terrible.
100%.
He gets a ring though.
I would never wish that on him. What guard would want to go to a team with two of the greatest guards of all time, still close to their primes, and then they still got other guards on that team too, guys like Pascal. That would not, and then Draymond's the playmaker. Like,
Yeah.
I don't think that would be a good situation. Like
Situation.
what he'll play in 7 years, he'll finally get a chance to play.
Mhm.
Like, I don't think that would be good, and it'll probably be a waste. But if you go Golden State, okay. I would argue he had more opportunity here, like, because I think he just needs the keys. He needs to be able to make a lot of mistakes. You know what I'm saying? But bravo, man. You got some thoughts on this?
I don't want to read too much into it. Maybe it was just like, okay, he asked his dad, LeVar. Melo said, "Hey, Dad, I want to go shopping." He said, "Hey, don't go to LA. Don't go to Florida. Don't go to Texas. There's too much COVID down there. Go to Detroit." I don't know. I'm just kidding. I
That is
don't
the
know.
worst LaVar Ball impersonation ever.
Right.
Go check out the city, meet with Dwayne Casey and Sekou Doumbouya, and then come back home.
Look, like, we don't have to read that much into it. I've already said Melo's been here a lot, but I just feel like the more he's here, the more comfortable he gets, the more publicity and the pictures he takes. You know, it's just adding on because, like, Drew is right. We saw Zion's reaction. He was heartbroken. I would have been heartbroken too. I'm gonna be honest with you. Like, going to New York to be on the big stage and I'm Zion freaking Williamson, or going to New Orleans. You saw it on his face. His heart was hurt. Like, I mean, but that's how it ends up. Now he's in a way better. Like, he was with the Knicks. I mean, he'll make them watchable, but they will still be a dumpster fire for years to come. No chance of making the playoffs anytime soon. And with LaMelo, like, if he does get picked up by Detroit, I think that he'll like it. He'll be a little bit open to it, and you know, like, even LeVar might be a little bit open to it. But I want to have some fun with you guys. Make sure you guys like the video if you haven't already. Happy July 4th. I wanted to do a fun little exercise. Now, I'm saying this, I want y'all all to hear me. We can't use Isaiah Thomas. Zeke is off the table because he's clearly the best Piston of all time. But now that that's off the table, I want to know who are your top 5 Pistons of all time in order. So we about to have a lot of disagreement.
Man.
Yes. Top 5, like,
why y'all do this to me?
I want to say top 7 to give y'all a chance, but we're gonna do top 5 in order. Now, I want to preface this by saying Nobody's probably going to agree with any of our lists because this is opinionated, but it's something fun. Make sure you guys in the chat, besides Zeke, Isaiah Thomas, who are the top 5 Pistons of all time. And I want to say this. We're going to start from 1980. So we ain't going to use none of the old players.
Oh, damn.
Come on.
Yes.
See, I already had Dave Bing.
Dave Bean,
Dave Bean,
I don't
yeah,
want to hear somebody
yeah.
say Dave Bean. Like, come on, man. I don't want to hear that.
What, can you just do favorites? It's just top 5 favorites, right?
Oh, man. In order. Who you think the nicest Pistons, man? We going to start with you, bro.
Come on.
Oh man, that was tough.
Man. We have, like I said, we have fun.
I'm gonna start like from the '80s. So Bob Lanier is not included, definitely, right? In
No.
this case, so it's really hard. I would probably go with
It's players from the modern era, man. Don't
I'm
use
gonna
players
pick-
that's all in the
okay.
60s.
number 5. At number 5, my favorite player of all time for the Pistons, Rip Hamilton.
Yeah.
Number 4, I'm gonna go with Chauncey Billups. Number 3, I'm gonna go with Joe Dumars. Number 4, I'm gonna go with Ben Wallace. Number 5, I don't know. I probably I'll put maybe 4. Number 1. Number 1 at maybe Ben Wallace. I put number 2 Blake Griffin.
Now this
Now we're
not
talking about like an order, right?
man. I was
Everyone
about to say,
number three.
the order of who you think is the best players. Now, apparently, Blake Griffin is our greatest player ever besides Zeke, and y'all might hate that.
No,
but
you are the number
might be
3.
true. But we gonna have, like I said, we gonna have some fun, man. But all right, CA3, man. What do you think about this? Who you got?
I forgot about Grant Hill.
Man. Number 1, I'm gonna have to say Joe Dumars. Number 2, I'm gonna have to say, I'm gonna have to say Chauncey.
Oh, okay.
No. Number 2, I'm gonna go Grant Hill. And number 3,
There it is.
Number 3, I'm gonna go. Number 3, I'm gonna go Chauncey. Number 4, I'm gonna go Rip. Number 5, I'm gonna go Big Ben.
Oh, okay. Right. Okay. All right. Sekou got next, man. Who are your top 5?
Hey man, I'm only 14, so this might be kind of bad. So, all right. So except for Zeke, of course, because Zeke is number 1. I'll go Joe Dumars. I'll go. I don't know, man. Chauncey is my favorite Piston of all time, except for Sekou. I don't know. Okay, so I'm gonna go Joe. I'm gonna go Grant Hill number 2. I'm gonna go Big Ben number 3. I'm gonna go Chauncey number 4, and number 5. I'm gonna go. Dennis Rodman.
Oh, okay. Dennis Rodman. All right. I mean, Dennis Rodman, top 3 defender of all time, maybe greatest rebounder ever. I mean, yeah. Like, I guess the rest of y'all kind of disrespected him low key. But Nick, man, who are your top 5 of the players that you think are the best in order?
So
Besides,
I'm in.
one. That's why I took him off the table because there's no point.
Right. I'm actually in the middle of writing it down just so I know I have it. I'm gonna defer. Drew, you haven't gone yet, right?
No.
Right. Go ahead.
Okay, you're gonna go, and I gotta write this down.
I was with you. I was trying to buy time. Hopefully, I heard a name I hadn't heard yet. But I'm gonna go Grant Hill number 1. He's the closest thing we've had to being a superstar for a team until he got hurt.
Yeah.
Then I'm going Joe D, Jerry Stackhouse.
Stack was one I was gonna say. Yeah.
I don't know who I'm gonna put over who. Chauncey, Big Ben.
Man, okay.
On that list?
I'll go next, and we'll save Nick for last.
Okay.
My greatest Piston of all time, besides Isaiah Thomas, of course, Grant Hill, and then the second I would go with Joe Dumars. Third, Richard Hamilton. Richard Hamilton is my favorite Piston ever. Third is Richard Hamilton. Fourth, I'm gonna go with Dennis Rodman, and 5. I'm gonna go with Chauncey. I like it was either Chauncey or Big Ben, and I'm gonna go with Chauncey. And I had put Dennis Rodman in there. He's one of the top 50 players of all time. So a very great player. But Nick, man, who do you think are the top 5 Pistons of all time in order besides my main man Zeke?
Yeah, I panicked a little bit. I feel like I may have forgot someone. So 5, I went Rip. 4, I went Ben. 3, I went Joe Dumars. 2, I went Grant Hill, and 1, I went Chauncey.
Okay, so you gonna think Chauncey is the greatest player besides Zeke? Okay, I mean the point
Yeah.
guard. He got a Finals MVP. I understand. All right, so now we gonna move on to talk about our draft prospect. Y'all know every week we talk about a draft prospect, and this week it's a player that's very interesting, Kyra Lewis. So my first question to you all is how do you grade him as a what's your draft breakdown of him? How do you grade Kyra Lewis as a prospect? We gonna start off with you, CA3.
I mean, I didn't do the most research. That I could have. I didn't do the most research. That I wish I could have done. But as a draft prospect, I mean, as a prospect, I think he's a solid prospect. Just from the fact, as a guard, I mean, he can really. I mean, he can really do everything pretty well. I mean, he's a solid shooter. Um, he's a. I mean, he's a decent passer. I mean, but he could improve in that category. But he's just a really good guard. I mean, he can really do everything pretty well. So, I mean, I think I would say he's a prospect. I mean, that not everyone's really talking about that could really turn out to be a really solid player when he gets drafted. So, yeah, I think he's a really solid prospect.
No, he's definitely underrated.
Yeah.
And I can see him doing something. But we gonna go to you, Sekou got next. What do you think is Kyra Lewis as a prospect?
Okay. Well, first off,
Kyra Lewis.
I just want to say, um, I'm gonna say this right now. Kyra Lewis will be an amazing player. I think he's the most underrated player in this draft. I'm just gonna say this now that I'm a Kyra Lewis fan. So when people jump on the bandwagon early, when the people jump on the bandwagon later, I'll be here. I'll be here early, and so I grade Kyra Lewis as a a prospect. I mean, he doesn't have the size, which is one con. He probably should put on a little weight, but he is one of the fastest players and most athletic in the whole draft. He reminds me of Jordan Bone. Jordan Bone is insanely athletic. So, like some pros and cons I wrote in, his pros outweigh his cons a lot. Like, he's aggressive when driving to the basket. He's really creative. He's really shifty. Uh, he can use a Euro step good. Same thing as Sekou. He has elite speed and quickness. He's a good ball handler. Like CA3 said, he can improve on his playmaking ability. So that goes with passing, and he loves the floater. So he has a good floater game. He's a good shooter off the dribble. He could pull up on going right or left. Uh, he has good footwork. He's always in a good position, so he's always a step ahead, I guess. He has good off the ball movement. He's always in a position to where he could either pull up or drive to the basket right there. He's like Nick said before the show. He's an amazing off ball. Like he can move off ball very very well. Uh, he has good potential in pick and roll, which is a huge part of the game right now. Is pick and roll for point guards. So he's a decent on ball defender. He has really good footwork. He has like smooth hip transitions, etc. His cons, he doesn't elite court vision awareness, so he's not the best passer, like I already said. Some on defensively, he'll get caught up on screens just because of his size. Unless he gets bigger, he can't really, guard the 3, 4, and 5. But he's a point guard, so I don't know how much he's gonna have to worry about it. He shies away from contact at the rim, which is probably his biggest con. Uh, yeah,
All right.
you saw all the pros I listed and all the cons I listed. Like, his pros are way
Well,
bigger. You know what I mean?
of course. I do think though his weight is just very unusual to me. How he could be 6'3" and 165 pounds, and he's a basketball. Like it's just very unusual. Like I know there's been plenty of players that come in smaller, but like go look up a player that you think came into the league very small and go look how much they weigh, and you will see it was more than 165. So I'm just that's why he shies away from contact because he can't take the contact. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Compared to us regular people, he might be a big human being, but compared to the people in the NBA, he's gonna have he needs to gain like 30 pounds. Like I'm serious over his career, and I'm not saying in 1 year, but over his career, he's gonna have to gain like 30 pounds. Like point guards in the NBA, you need to be like close to 190, anywhere from like 185 to like 205, anywhere from there. So he's gonna have to gain a lot of weight.
That
But
might affect
as
his
a prospect,
athleticism.
though, this kid is special. I was telling the guys off air, I like him a little bit more than Killian Hayes, and y'all know I'm on the Killian Hayes bandwagon. I love Killian Hayes, but it's just because his scoring ability is just like something special. He has a great hesitation move. He shoots 43% off the dribble on pull-up shots, and he can pull up from any direction, 36%, like from three, regardless. And then he has 5 assists, 18 points a game. His handles are very solid. He's not fancy with it, but he knows how to keep the ball away from you and get around you and score very easily. And he can do it with both hands. His cons are really only, to me, his weight. Because we can say he's not that good of a passer, but he, at 5 assists in college, he can work on that. That's something that he can build on. But to me, he's a really very good scorer. Like I compare him to Kevin Porter Jr. because last year I was very high on Kevin Porter Jr. because of his ability to just create and score. And I think he's a guy like that. He's a point guard. Kevin is more of a 2 guard, but he's a guy like that in this draft to me. Extremely good at creating. He can score and he's efficient. That's the thing I don't like about Cole Anthony. He puts up all those points, but he's not efficient. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. Let me just say, I'm sorry, I'm interrupting you guys, but this is completely off topic. But 4 minutes ago, Kanye West just tweeted he's running for president.
He said that like 4 years ago. I
was about to say I'm not surprised. He said
he said that before.
Yeah, right. Like
okay, but still,
he might be the best option, to be honest with you.
Hey man,
dude,
I'll take Kanye over Trump, but hey, it is what it is. And then like when you think about it, like Kanye's a crazy, but you're like, well, Trump is like, whoa, like like. But it is what it is, man.
Hold on, before wouldn't Kim be the baddest first lady of all time, though? Just
yeah,
by far. They gonna make statues of her. I just want to let everybody know that's listening. You don't know who Kiera Lewis is, just like Mario Washington. I'm telling you, he's the one player like Bravo and Sagan Garnett's been hyping up. This guy is a really good guard. If you guys been watching our shows and been watching me for a while, y'all know how much I love Killian Hayes. I just called him better. I like him more. I'm not just saying that this kid is talented, so you need to go look up at this kid's game. I think he's gonna be a very slept on kid. But Drew, what do you think about Kyrie Lewis? What's your draft breakdown of how you grade him as a prospect?
I think he has the potential to be one of the biggest steals in the draft. After doing some research on him, the grade wise though, he's about a C because, like you said, he's 100 and some odd pounds, not a very big dude. But the thing that I love about him is his quickness. He can blow past defenders with just a simple crossover. Actually, watching a lot of his highlights reminds me of at times Brandon Jennings, undersized, a little bit smaller, thinner guard, but is super super quick. He can do a step back. He shot like 36 from downtown. On almost attempts. But one of the things that really stood out during like the blowing past these defenders, he's going up for like these Dr. J layups, but he's kicking it to a shooter in the corner, which if he came to Detroit, which we'll talk about his fate here, but that's going to be a Langston Galloway, a Luke Kennard, or a Mykhailiuk in the corner, setting those guys up really, really well. Plus, you're going to have some big men down there like Blake, potentially see what if they resign him, where Blake is still not as he used to be, are going to put somebody on a poster down there. So when you get a guard who can make the defense collapse and have to come in, we have two shooters in Luke Kennard and Mahai that are really, really, really good. They can't play off of those guys, or he's going to find them. So even though he's only averaged 5,
you're breaking up a bit, Drew. No, I can't hear you going in and out. Can y'all hear him?
Yeah, he's breaking up.
Yeah, he's going in and out. But Pelo Santos says LaMelo never said he wants to play in Detroit. He wants to be a Knick. And he said he doesn't like cold cities. Well, New York is a cold city. But until we get Drew back, I don't know what happened to Drew. But we're gonna go to you, Nicholas. What is your breakdown of Kira Lewis? How do you grade him as a prospect? Before we get to that, Pistons talk said he reminds me of Colin Sexton and De'Aaron Fox. Yes, he does.
Damn it!
If they're put into one player, I understand. Like he took your answer.
That's exactly what I was going to say. Yeah. Well, first, I want to ask something, Evan. I didn't want to interrupt you. Is there a player who you don't think is going to be great? Because it's always like, I think this guy's going to be great. Like, he just needs a chance. That's all it is. It's never like this guy. Like, I'll come out and tell you right now, Nico Mannion is a fundamentally bad basketball player. He's not going to be good in the NBA. If I'm wrong, like, I'll acknowledge it. But, like, it's always like, this guy's going to be great. Tell me a player who you don't think is going to be great.
Wait, well, look, I know you got a player you don't think is going to be great.
Nah, look, I like to be positive, but I'm not on the Danny Avdija train like J-Mo. I mean,
you're wrong. Danny nice. Look, I would see you don't like Danny Avdija, see?
And Tyrese Halliburton. I don't really like Tyrese Halliburton a lot. I agree with you on the Nico Mannion.
Same reaction as me.
In the league today. I'm not talking about prospects. In the league today.
Is there like a player I don't like?
Not even that you don't like somebody that I'm just using this as an example. How everyone really likes Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, right? If you, for example, thought he was bad, or like actually, here's an example for me. Everybody loves Devontae Graham. I think he's terrible.
Wow.
So,
he's terrible.
He's bad. He's not. He's not great.
Like,
yeah,
that's a can of worms.
No.
Wow. He just gonna let you have that.
Well, I mean,
go ahead, man. What do you think about Kira Lewis, man?
Okay.
And we're gonna get back to you afterwards, Drew.
Yeah, we'll go. I don't think there's really too much that I can say that kind of hasn't already been said, but was it Pistons talk? Yeah, they stole my De'Aaron Fox comparison, because that's kind of when I was watching some stuff from him the other day. That's kind of what I saw a little bit. And coming out of college, like when De'Aaron Fox was coming out of Kentucky, I feel like he was a lot more like guns a-blazing than Kira Lewis is. But the shiftiness, the quickness, and the ability. Actually, if you want to talk about how Kira Lewis doesn't like to draw contact at the rim, it's one of my biggest issues with De'Aaron Fox. Is a guy who should be able to draw contact and get to the line as much as he does. He just kind of doesn't do it that much. And some of it this year was because he was just banged up. But there's not too much that I'm going to be able to say about Kira that kind of hasn't already been said, because I don't want to kind of beat a dead horse. But I definitely understand why people are sort of starting to. We talked before the show about how him and Nico Mannion have sort of had this like reverse thing happen with them, where one goes all the way up and one goes all the way down the draft board. I get why Kyra's so high. I'm very curious to see if he kind of ends up being one of those guys who is a really quality like sixth man, or if he is actually able to. Because I don't think he's a guy who transcends a franchise, but by no means do I think he's a guy who is like a.
I love De'Aaron Fox, but I don't know if he's a guy that transcends a franchise either. I
might agree with that.
I think he could be a perennial all-star. He probably will be for a long time, but I don't know if he's that next level transcendent type of guy. That's like, I'm talking about win column type of thing.
Yeah, no, I get 100%.
Because I mean, look, man, people are madly in love with Ja Morant to the point where I call him overrated, but Ja Morant can win games. You know, and that's what makes him a little bit special, and that's why people think he's gonna be so good, because like he's literally winning games. Yeah. But all right, Drew, man, finish up what you're gonna say.
Did I get my Brennan Jennings comparison before I broke up?
Yes, you did.
Yeah.
Yes, you
okay,
did.
that's really what I was trying to nail
by the way.
What's up?
I said I think that was a good comparison, by the way.
It's Detroit Drew. It's what I do, baby. But yeah, I don't know exactly where I broke up. What's the last thing that I said? So I don't repeat myself.
I was probably the Brandon Jennings thing. Go from the Brandon Jennings thing.
I don't really remember where I was going with that, because I freestyle all this. But one of the things that really stands out with me was when he blows by the defenders, he's able to glide in the air. So he goes up for a layup. The defense reacts to him, and he's able to find his guards on the corner, on the perimeter, from behind the backboard. So you look at his 5 assists per game. He's going to come to the NBA. There's going to be better talent at each and every single position. If he did come to Detroit, like I said, there'll be Luke Kennard or Mihailuk there. He'll be able to find those guys, and if the defense doesn't collapse off those guys and their center comes in, you're going to throw it to Christian Wood or Blake Griffin, and they're going to get a dunk or an and one opportunity. So this guy has potential. It's really about putting the work in, adding some muscle, adding some weight, and becoming more of a playmaker. Because even though he's averaged 5 assists, he's got like 2.5 turnovers, which is all right. It's not great. It's not really flashy. It's not eye-popping. But that assist total is something that he really needs to work on. But this dude can score. He averaged like 18.5 points, shot 36 from downtown, 49 from the field. So this guy can go get buckets. So it's very promising. If we fall, that this could be someone that we really look at as a guy that might be a boomer bust thing.
Yeah, and with him, I feel like, every time when we're talking about these players and we're trying to project, we're trying to analyze their games. One of the things I look at with players is like, if I'm looking at him as a prospect, do I think he'll be able to score on the NBA level? And I think day one, I don't know how efficient or the numbers, but day one, he'll be able to score on the NBA level because he just has the talent, just like Kevin Porter Jr. But how well or how often, because of his height and some of his other deficiencies, we don't know. But that's why I like him, because I think he's going to be a scorer in this league, and you just got to build him up. But, y'all, we say the best for last. Bravo, the resident scout expert that's been hyping Kira Lewis for the longest. I mean, he hyped up Sekou, and then we got Sekou.
Yeah.
So,
yeah,
let me know
so. Let me share with you. Right now, man. Okay, I'll share with you the screen in here, so I'm going to give you some stats about Kira Lewis Jr. So let me just make it as a I guess we can make it as a full screen. Okay, so let's do it this way. Sorry about that. So Kira Lewis, the best comparison for me is, I'm going to say it, Dennis Schroeder, the guy from the Oklahoma City Thunder. He's a really close kind of player to Kira Lewis. He's very fast like Kira Lewis. He takes the shot like Kira Lewis too. And he has some similarities. Can you guys see this?
Yeah.
Okay. So he measures 6'3". He's 165 pounds, like Jamo said. He's only 19-year-old. He plays for the Alabama Crimsons, and he's a point guard for Alabama. He is projected currently at the 19th pick. So he's a mid-lottery pick. He's averaging, like Drew says, really good scoring. So he's averaging 18, projected around 18. This is what he averaged per 36 minutes. 46% of the field goal. He is scoring a 36 to 37% from three, 80% free throw shooter. But the rate of the free throws, he goes to the line about 2 times to 4 times every game. So not a lot, I heard. Assisting, he's averaging 5.2 assists per game, steal at 1.8, turnover 3, relatively high. Usage, he's always about 24% of usage rate. I'm gonna say the most important pros about Kira Lewis is speed, and this guy has one of the best. He is the fastest player in this NBA draft, I believe. If you correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, the other guy who's really fast is Isaac Okoro, but I think this guy is the fastest player in my opinion. I think he is the fastest. Correct me if I'm wrong.
By fast, you mean like in the open court?
Yes,
no?
If you let them go in the open court, he's probably going to be one of the fastest players, and even like as a point guard, probably he's the fastest point guard too. Shot creation, he has a really ability to make shot and creates. He has a nice pick and roll game. I've seen him play with the pick and roll too. He plays. He's a really nice ball handling game too. I noticed him, so he has all the offense potentials, if you ask me. And as a defender, he plays a good one-on-one defender. He's like a good team defender. He can defend one-on-one on ball defense. Not really like a great. I don't remember his wingspan. I believe he's 6'6" as a wingspan, so he's okay. The only cons about him, like Jemo said, is strength, his weight. So he doesn't go to the line. It doesn't absorb a lot of contact. But dude, you don't even need to absorb contacts if you got the speed of Ish Smith. I'm gonna compare him.
I feel like the reason he's not a top lottery pick might be because of his weight. Because if he was like a good 185, he might be like they might be talking about him as like a top 5 pick.
Yeah. Yeah, and so here his contact finishing is kind of poor. I heard that. That's what I read from him. And his is not consistent, but a lot of rookies are not consistent, to be honest. Like Anthony Edwards is not even consistent. Turnovers is another problem for him. The best comparison for him is Dennis Schroeder. This is my own comparison.
Why do you say Dennis Schroeder though? Because I feel like he's a much better shooter.
Yes, he's a better shooter than Dennis Schroeder, but he is really the same size, same kind of player in terms
Dennis
of
Schroeder's
size.
like 6'1", barely 6'1".
Yeah, but I think a better like a combo. I place two players in here. He's not a Ish Smith, but he's got the speed of Kevin of De'Aaron Fox and Ish Smith in terms of that kind of speed, and he had the nice pick and roll game like Michelle Gilchrist Alexander at best. He doesn't really
game is next level.
His pick and roll game, his contact, he doesn't really take it to the lane like Shea Gilchrist Alexander. He's like Shea Gilchrist is like 180 pounds, 185 pounds maybe, 182 pounds maybe. Ish Smith is like 170. This guy is like a really low weight, but dude, I can see him like gaining like 175 easy, no problem. So it's just a matter of really, if you really ask me, I think he is probably the third point guard on my list after LaMelo Ball. And then after Killian Hayes and after him, I'm higher on this guy than Tyrese Halliburton and guys like RJ Hampton. I don't know I'm not interested really great in Denny Avdia, but I watched a lot of film on him. I like Denny, but I think this guy is as good as Denny. Maybe you'd be surprised.
I'm gonna keep telling y'all sleeping. Denny has so much talent, dog. Like y'all sleeping. I can't wait. I cannot wait for next season, man. Y'all sleeping on Denny, bro.
But we'll see what Terrell Lewis. By the way, this guy is the other team is really high on this guy is the New York Knicks, and I hate to say it, the New York Knicks are really competitive to us. They want to draft the guy
they
like
want every player we want.
I have a question for Bravo, real quick. Bravo, I seen on your screen share you had a notification from me. Why'd you hit close so fast on that?
Come on, man.
Oh, sorry, what was that?
I don't know. I seen something popped up that said Detroit Drew on there, and you were like, "Oh, click that away."
Oh. No, it was just a
disrespect.
Your video.
I'm just not thinking, bro.
Bro, disrespect, Bravo.
Man, we doing a live show, man. He ain't gonna watch it anyway, but at least he respects you enough to click it off of it when he like he sees, you know, like he's like, I know Drew is looking, so let me show him like this higher up. Like, nah. But all right, now let's move on to do you think Kira Lewis will be a good fit for the Pistons? We gonna start off with you, Dick.
Yeah, I mean, probably. Yeah, he would be. I think anyone who says no, I'm just gonna say this now. If you say no, you better like come correct because you're gonna be an idiot if you say no. But my thing with it though is like if we pick at 7, right? If we follow what I was kind of thinking earlier, and I think Evan, you said it too. 7 was kind of what we were thinking. No, I don't want him there. Like because the thing with this draft is so weird. And I've said this 100,000 times. In years past, let's just use last year as an example. You know for a fact, Zion is 1, Ja is 2, RJ is 3. It does not matter what teams are drafting where. This year is really weird, where the order is so heavily contingent on what teams are actually picking where. That's why you see Killian going anywhere from 1 to like 13. And that's why so many of these players are all over the place is because it's really dependent on what teams are actually going where. So if you fall to 7, there is a chance that Killian Hayes is there. There is a chance that, and if it comes down to Halliburton or Lewis, crapshoot. I don't care. You could even throw Theo Maledon in there. I don't have a problem with it. I'm fine. So yeah, he'd be perfectly fine. I'm not really picky, to be completely honest and transparent. I do not care who the Pistons get as long as it's a point guard and as long as it is not James Wiseman.
Look, I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you. I like James Wiseman. So if we take, like,
you can like him. You can like him. That's fine, dude.
Before we got rid of Andre, I was like, this kid is special. Like, I'm very high on James Wiseman. So
why you want James Wiseman, man?
He's a great player. Like, he's gonna be a great player.
My thing is, if it's, I don't want to sort of get. Here's what I'll say about James Wiseman is like he already kind of has more post moves than Andre ever did. So it's like, I don't know, if you get to this point with them where you somehow drop to like 9 and Wiseman's your best option, and we follow Stefanski's model of drafting the best available player, if it comes to pass that the Pistons select Wiseman, fine. But I'm just so, as somebody who loves Daryl Morey and loves this new adopted style of play where you're 4 out, 1 in, or 5 out, this motion offense, this positionless basketball, I don't want a player who is stuck in this, like, I can play maybe I need someone who can actually play 15 feet away from the basket, and right now James Wiseman can't do that. And if we're going to actually run a success, he not consistently.
James Wiseman is the complete, like, I don't really know if he has his weakness. Only weakness might be his heart. Like, James Wiseman got it all. He can shoot from anywhere. He has tons of
not from anywhere. Not from anywhere.
He can shoot threes, and he can shoot threes, bro.
I'm looking. I am getting the data.
He's great on defense too. Like, Wiseman only played in 4 games, so we couldn't see everything. But he's been shooting threes from behind, way behind the 3-point line in high school. Like, he's been shooting threes for a while. Like, he can shoot 3. That's why he was such a highly talented prospect. But yeah, I mean, I still don't want him. I'm with you on that. But like, if we got him, I would be pissed. But like, he's just so good, though. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, I get it 100%.
Yeah, but Drew, who do you think? Do you think Kira Lewis is a good fit for the Pistons?
Before we do that, I just want to say I'm with you, man. Outside of maybe small forward, I don't want to go anything after a guard unless it's Obi Toppin.
Yeah.
And that's only because I want to have a nickname for him. I want to have a player I can call Obi-Wan Kenobi, and it'd be like my thing. That's the only reason I would want Obi Toppin. That's it. But back to the guy we're talking about. Lewis would be a solid fit for us, especially like you guys said, if we fell. We got great young talent around him. He's going to be put into the court instantly. And like I said, he could be a huge, huge steal. The Pistons are like a weird team right now. We're like, yeah, we have the 5th pick in the draft, but are we really like the 5th worst team in the league right now? We didn't have Blake Griffin a lot. Luke was out a lot. Both those guys can come back next year. We'll be a better team. Blake Griffin being healthy, we're already going to be in playoff contention. Maybe not good enough to make it there because East is going to be really, really, really tough next year with John Wall coming back, KD, Kyrie coming back. East is going to be tougher than a lot of people are going to give it credit for. So to get a young player like this who's going to come in here and learn from a Derrick Rose, if Derrick Rose is still here, there's trade rumors. If you want to throw those to a legitimate cause or not, I can't confirm or deny those. It would be huge to get a young point guard like him and really watch him learn from Derrick Rose.
Yeah,
Derrick Rose is not really super outspoken, but he is a leader nonetheless. So if we went for him, he's going to struggle. His rookie season is going to be an up and down one. It's going to be about getting opportunities because he's not guaranteed anything. He's going to struggle, but you have to stay patient with him. I think 2-3 years down the road with this guy, he's going to be consistent. He's going to have a better passing game. He's going to be able to be more efficient, and he's pretty efficient right now. It's going to take him a couple years to get better, though. Once he gets some muscle to him, add some pounds to him, he will be really good. So, like someone, if we're looking at like a LaMelo Ball who can get a starting lineup right away and get an opportunity right away, Killian Hayes, Lewis, Halliburton, Cole Anthony aren't guaranteed any of that. So this will be a building project. Like Sekou, he showed glimpses of being really good. He still needs a couple more years to get better, but it depends if we wanted to actually go rebuild or retool and fire back up. If we're looking to make the playoffs next year, it's probably not the right pick. Again, I don't know if that's the best mindset to be in. I really don't know what to expect from Troy Weaver right now because we don't really have.
I don't think any of these picks are contingent on our playoff appearance.
What's that?
So I don't think any of these picks are contingent on what we're gonna do in the playoffs. Like, I think some of these guys can help us, but I think we're gonna be fighting for a spot regardless. But with Kira Lewis, I did want to go to one comment because this is exactly what I was saying. He said there's a future star and they are not a point guard, screw a point guard. I've been preaching about a point guard for literally 4 years. It's documented on all my videos. I've been screaming, banging on the wall, trying to fight people. I want a point guard more than anything in this world for this team. But if you telling me some great players there and they don't have to be a point guard, you got to go with the great player. Sometimes that's just the right decision. But all right, CA3, did you talk about Kira Lewis yet?
Yeah, I already did.
All right, go ahead, Sekou.
Well, Kyra Lewis is.
Oh no, I didn't. But
Oh.
I was about to say. Go ahead, Sekou. Go
Am
ahead.
I up? All right.
Yeah, go
Well,
Rock, paper, scissors.
all right.
If you don't go,
All right, bro. Who's going, bro?
You.
All right, all right. So Kyra Lewis, I think he's going to be an amazing fit with the Pistons. He's a good pick and roll player. I think he would be great with Christian Wood. Throwing some lobs. He's a fast point guard. I think it might take him, a couple years, just like Sekou. I think the expectations were too high for Sekou after he had those couple games, but that's off topic. I think Kyra Lewis would be an amazing fit. And to weigh in on the, JMO and Nick, discussion about James Wiseman. James Wiseman, I think I'm definitely with JMO and he's going to be a great player, but I'm with Nick on he would be a horrible fit. I mean, not horrible fit, but I would not be excited if we drafted James Wiseman because that's just replacing Andre Drummond with him. There's no point. You're not taking any steps forward, So Kyra Lewis, like I was saying, he would be a great fit with the Pistons. I feel like the Pistons would be one of the best teams he could go to personally. All right, CA3, what are you gonna say?
Oh, I haven't answered that question, but I mean, yeah, I think he would be a solid fit. I mean, any good point guard in this draft would be a solid fit for the Pistons because we need all the point guard love we can get. As we haven't really had a true point guard in since Chauncey Billups for real. So I mean, and with Brandon Jennings for his small stint until we got hurt, sadly. So we really need a point guard badly because we haven't really won anything since we had a true point guard. So I think he'd be a really solid fit. Hopefully he can maybe turn into a little better of a playmaker and add on some more weight, and he would be a perfect fit for the Pistons if you ask me.
I think he's just contingent on what the team that drafts him, what vision do they have? What do you think the player? If you think he's gonna be a superstar, then all you gonna do is try to turn him into a weight maniac. We need you in the weight room all day, every day. But if you think he's gonna be a good player, because it's about what do you invest in all these players. And I hate to say it, but every NBA team doesn't invest everything in all of their young guys, even if they're lottery picks. It happens all the time. Some teams invest much more in certain players. And if you're a team that's going to draft him like the Pistons and you're willing to invest everything for his development, I do think he's going to be a great player. I know we brought up comparisons, but to me, him being a star, an all-star is contingent on how he develops with whatever team he's on. And I do think he's a really good fit for the Pistons because he can score. Derrick Rose can train him up. And I do think he has some passing abilities that rival all of our guards, maybe even a little bit better. But see, when you have shooters like ours, you just going to pass more. You know what I'm saying? I don't know about his team, but I don't care if you are the ultimate ball hog. If you playing with Steph and Klay Thompson, they on the wing, you passing the ball. It don't matter how big of a ball hog you are, you're giving them the ball. So to me, he can learn to make through that. He might not dependent on the guys on his team, to make shots. So now on this team, even if he's not the best playmaker in the world, we know because of his dribbling and handling ability, he can draw to and be able to kick it open. I think he'll be a very solid fit, but it's up to the Pistons because to me, it's his weight. We're going to keep talking about it. But if you're committed to getting him to 190, this guy could be a superstar someday if he really works hard. So it's just how committed are you to him being the best he can be? Look at the Pelicans. They are committed to Zion being in shape. Look at Zion; he look like inhuman. I looking like Sub-Zero in that picture. It's not looking good. When I saw that picture, first thing I thought of was Sub-Zero, Injustice with the sword and the muscles. Yeah, looking mean. I'm like, bro, look at Zion Sub-Zero out here. But that's what you want because they knew he was out of shape and they limited his minutes because. It wasn't really the knees. It was because he was out of shape and they didn't want him to put that on his knees. But they made him get in shape. Same thing with Kira Lewis, man. You have to make this guy get in shape. And I think he is a good fit for the Pistons. But This is the time where we're going to take your questions. If you haven't liked the video, make sure you guys like the video. Happy July 4th, y'all. But this is the time where we'll take your questions. If you have any questions about the Pistons or anything in the NBA, make sure you drop your questions in the chat. And we got one more topic that I want to talk about. It's about what we were talking about
real
earlier.
quick, though. Real quick.
Yeah.
Nick, tell the people in the chat where to find you on Spotify.
Oh yeah, so I have a basketball podcast. It's Pistons centric, but like if you guys know me, I do a lot of King stuff. Well, King stuff and a lot of Buck stuff too. So it's really an NBA podcast with like a main focus on the Pistons. It is Shoot the J. That's the name of it. I remember when I came up with the name, I was like, no one has this podcast name. Everyone has that podcast name. So it's Shoot the J. The artwork is like it's blue, and if you click one of the episodes, you'll know it's me. It's on Spotify, Apple Podcast, Stitcher, basically anywhere where you find podcasts. It is Shoot the J.
Definitely go check it out.
Hey, man, we know how it is creating a name because we were finding some names. We're like, okay, it's like, oh, they got this name, they got this name. We know exactly how it is. With it, like we were talking about this earlier when we were talking about the NBA and the bubble. And like I said, we talked about it a little bit, but not in depth. I wanted to talk about who do you think we should give opportunity to play point guard if this bubble happens? Because I know you. It's just like it's a lot of guys. There's Bruce, there's Speed, there's Kyrie Thomas. You might want to put Luke Kennard out there. It's a lot of things that you want to do. You might want to have Sekou playmaking more. But who is the one player that you think the Pistons should give the opportunity to play point guard in those bubble games if it happens? We're gonna start with you, CA3.
Oh man, it's so many options. You can choose from. It's tough. This is definitely tough. I would have to say I want to give Jordan Bone an opportunity because I feel like we haven't really seen him play too much. I feel like this would be the perfect time for to see him play point guard. Since hopefully all the veterans sit down and especially D Rose. Just give the young guys some chances. To show what they can do, especially Jordan Bowman because he's been in the G League for most of the year. So it would be nice to see him play some point guard and during those bubble games.
Yeah, I like that pick. A lot of us are very high on Jordan Bone. And to me, when I go look at players, I look at their abilities. And one ability I know he can pass the ball, and he's extremely fast. Now, and his handles and stuff are okay, but he needs to work on shooting. But all you got to do is try to build from that. On the NBA level, things are different. But Detroit Drew, man, like who do you think the Pistons should give an opportunity to play point guard in these games?
Starting point guard should be Bruce Brown. I think backup will be Jordan Bone or Kyrie Thomas. And then you're going to see people like Luke Kennard, if he plays, and Mihailuk, get the opportunities there. But Bruce Brown really needs to work on his playmaking ability and finishing at the rim and getting his teammates involved and stuff. Like he doesn't have the skill set Luke Kennard and Mihailuk do. Even if he becomes a good 3-point shooter, he's not going to be as good as they are. So they
got the sauce, Drew. That's what I call it. They got the sauce.
You can call it the sauce. You can call it the magic touch, the flick of the wrist, whatever you want to call it. They got it. It's something like he's going to have to work on each and every year. Those guys just have natural God-given talent at doing that. Not everyone's going to be a shooter, and people have to accept their role. I don't know what Bruce Brown's future is going to, behold, but he needs to do something different. His role right now is to be one of our better defender guards. I don't think he's a lockdown. He's just a scrappy defender. Offensively, he has to work on almost everything, getting his teammates open shots, creating penetration, getting his teammates set up down low as along at the perimeter, making the defense having to guard you. And he actually took a step forward in the corner 3 where, it wasn't going in every time he shot it, but he looked more comfortable, more relaxed. His shot's a little bit different. It's got more of an arc on it. So you're seeing him improve. I think he really needs to get this process down because even if he plays the 2 or at times if he plays the 3, which I'm not really a fan of, anytime you can get a player that can do more like playmaking stuff, it's only going to help your team. It's never really going to hurt you. Even then, I still don't think if they make him go ahead and be the point guard, he's still probably not going to be the primary ball handler as long as Blake or D Rose is here. But it's process, learning how to develop him there. So I think that should be the way the Pistons should go if they do it, kind of treat it like a summer league thing.
See, I don't disagree with you, but my thing is, I don't disagree with you at all. I'm honestly, but why is he the one that gets all the opportunity? You know what I'm saying? Like, out of all our young players, Bruce has gotten the most opportunity since he's been here. I mean, he was starting over Luke Kennard. Like, y'all still know how upset I am about that. But he's gotten the most opportunity, and maybe it's time to see if somebody else can be something. And I agree with Mario Washington. He says Sekou should play point of these games, give him reps on handles and playmaking. Right. When Sekou was overseas, he actually was a good, okay passer, and he had some vision. And we didn't see much of that in the league because of what Nick was saying earlier. Like, he rarely got the ball. You get the ball and you a scorer first, you're going to be scoring. You're not going to be using your other talents. But, all right, man. Bravo. Who do you think that the Pistons should get an opportunity to play point guards in these games?
Probably I'm good. We don't have a really good legit point guard. Let's be honest. So
see, my thing is, it's not a lot of games, but I just feel like we got to pick the right player. But one of these guys could be something. And I'm not saying an all-star. I'm just saying one of these guys could be like, we can depend on them to play make. Because I know we need our point guard to score, but we really just lack a playmaker. Besides, like, we got like mid-level playmakers like Blake and Luke Kennard and D-Rose. We need somebody that can truly do that. And Jordan Bone is probably the best passer out of all of them naturally. So,
yeah, I think probably like I agree with CA3. Jordan Bone needs to get an opportunity at point guard, and I agree with also Bruce Brown has to get the opportunity. But if you ask me, if you want to try something new, why not give it part of the point guard to like a couple of people? Like give it to combination of Luke and maybe a guy like Sekou, maybe. Why not give him a try? You know, I would love to see how Sekou would do with a point forward, point guard. I don't think he'd do a point guard, by the way. I don't think he has the vision to pass like Jordan Bone.
You're a point forward, even if you're LeBron James. You're a point forward when you're 6'9", 6'8". Like,
I don't know. I mean, we don't have a legit point guard, man. So if you ask me, Bruce Brown, realistically, Bruce Brown and Jordan Bone. But if you want to do something different, maybe Sekou and Luke Kennard and combination of like both.
Okay.
Luke's already a good passer, though. He had a career high like 4.3.
Yeah. That's why like he averaged like slightly more assists than Bruce Brown, and I'm like he didn't. I'm like, really, Bruce? You can't be letting that happen. You getting all that opportunity, but I would like Luke Kennard to get it. I just think Luke Kennard, he's just one of them players that's just a good like passer. That's just his gift. He can pass, but I don't know. He can play make, and because he can shoot, it allows him to get open. And get passing lane because, like, I mean, Luke Kennard they say he was the best shooter in his draft class, and he is. And, like, so you're not going to leave him open. It allows for other people to be open. But I don't think he's a PG per se. I just think he's a very solid playmaker because of his abilities. I would rather see what Svi Mikhailuk and Jordan Bone have because I think Svi can be a point forward. I believe in Jordan Bone. I know I'm alone on this Svi train, but I'm telling y'all, I'm never wrong about these passers, man. Speed has a passing gift. I don't know if he'll ever materialize, but he has a gift. So I think we should try that out and see if that gift is just a mid-tier level gift or it can be higher than that. Because at this point, we got Bruce Brown and, Luke Kennard. It's not like we have any passers that we should be putting over him. And I definitely want Sekou to play some point forward. But baby steps with Sekou. He just needs to get out there and just score the ball for now. You know what I'm saying? I would love to see him play point forward, but baby steps. Let the guards – rifle through the guards and let them do that. Sekou, just score. You know what I'm saying? Score, play defense. Because right now, I want to see what these guards can do because we invested in you. We know you staying here. You ain't going nowhere. I think that Svi needs the opportunity. So I'm very curious about that. But Nick, did you go yet? Who do you think should play point guard in these games?
Yeah, I mean, look, I hate to just say Bruce, but like, it has to be Bruce.
It should be Bruce.
My thing is like, so when Casey came out and he was like, look, we want to prioritize Bruce as like a 2 guard and then a 1 instead of a 1, then a 2. And I'm just like, he played point guard at Miami and like it went pretty well. Bruce Brown emerging as like this sort of like jack of all trades player with the Pistons, a guy who's like not great at anything. I think the closest to greatness that he is with his defense. Obviously, I think I made a video about this. It was like exit Stanley Johnson, excuse me, enter Bruce Brown as the Pistons' best on-ball defender.
Let me stop you right there. I literally have been saying this, and people be getting mad. I said Bruce Brown is a point guard version of Stanley Johnson. He just
Literally,
he's just a little bit better. I literally told people that.
Yes.
And I'm not saying that like it's a detriment, but alluding to what you're saying, the goal is for him to be Drew Holiday, a two guard that can give you 6 assists, that's amazing at defense and can score. That's what they're trying to make him. I don't know if he can get there though. Who knows?
Yeah, I think, you know, what was funny is I'm going to say it was recent. It really wasn't. So I guess recently, it was probably like 3 months ago. I don't know. With quarantine, it all just seems kind of like it all blends together. It was like 3 months ago. I was like reading one of my first ever articles that I wrote, and it was like an end of season grade for Bruce Brown.
Yeah.
And I had said something like, he needs to shoot more from the corner. Like that's where he's good. I don't even remember writing that. It turns out that's like one of the only places that he could actually shoot from this season, like outside of the paint. So, you know, he's getting better as a scorer.
I would say he's improving. That's all we can do.
100%. Like that's it. He's not good at it, but like he's better. And with Stanley, it's like he was entering year 3 with the Pistons and he had trouble making layups. So with Bruce, it's like at least he can get to the rim. He's really good.
Some layups this year.
Yeah, I mean, he has his moments where it's not great.
I was still mad about that one layup that like Sekou lobbed to him and he just missed it. I was furious. I'm like, Bruce, why?
He's pretty. I mean, he's getting better with locating shooters, and I think that he probably should be a primary focus for like a fail-safe point guard option because he really is good at it. And Drew, I think you mentioned this like an hour and a half ago. When Bruce had a triple-double in the Summer League last year. Let me say this. First of all, Bruce Brown in the Summer League performing the way that he did, yeah, it was great. But it's also the way that you would hope your second-year players would perform in the Summer League, right? Like guys who you watch them and they're like, wow, they're playing so well. Yeah, I should expect that they are. Like that's a good sign that they're making progress in the way that they need to be. So when he recorded that triple-double, it was only the second triple-double in the history of the Summer League. The other one was Lonzo Ball. Some fun trivia, I guess.
I mean, you know I know that. Go.
I mean, well.
I mean, you probably don't know how big of a Zoe fan I am, but now you know.
You just made him a Bruce Brown fan. Now he's going to talk about Bruce Brown.
Pistons for 3 years, but I'm like, Pistons, they going to trade them because they idiots. Go get them. Stop being stupid. Yeah. Andre need a point guard. But they was like, forget Andre. He don't need no point guard. He gone. But crazy.
Yeah, it just feels to me like, you know, and I do think you make a good point. Like, why is Bruce always the one that gets good opportunities? Like, why does he always why do we push him into these certain directions? And it's like, as far as him starting over Luke Kennard, I get that 100%. To me, it makes complete sense because you want some scoring on the bench. Because if you put Bruce Brown on the bench, then it's like, who exactly do we have in the second unit? To me, it just feels like Bruce is such a gifted playmaker. There's so much potential there that it feels like there's a lot of untapped I guess potential there, and I think that needs to be channeled.
Well, I mean, regardless of what we think of him, we watch them improve, and if they think he can continue to improve, he can continue to improve. But Bruce, my thing is, hopefully he has a huge jump because I think he has 2 more years and he's gonna be what he is. Whatever that is, that's what he's gonna be. So this next year, I'm these next 2 years, like year 3 and 4, I'm really hoping to see a huge jump. I don't know if I'm seeing it or not, but I'm hoping because I think he wasn't in college that long, but he was in college a little bit longer. And I'm just looking at his skill set. He has like a couple more years before he reaches wherever he's gonna be. So, and then after that, it's just being better, like with efficiency. But say who got next, man. Who do you think the Pistons should give an opportunity to play point guard? And everybody, make sure you drop your questions. I see all of your questions. We will get to them after say who got next. Go ahead.
All right. Well, just before I start off by saying, I would just like to put it out there that like Bruce Brown, and I'm not comparing him like, you know, Russell Westbrook, but the way he plays reminds me of him. Like Russell Westbrook, he's a great rebounder. He could pass the ball. He's a walking triple double. Russell Westbrook, and he has that dog mentality. He plays with emotion. Bruce Brown plays with emotion. He is a good rebounder, can pass. He can score. And Russell Westbrook isn't a great shooter, but he could score inside pretty efficiently. Same thing with Bruce Brown. Bruce Brown's nowhere near Russell Westbrook, but the similar play style. So I would put Bruce Brown there because I think he's a great playmaker. Definitely Jordan Bone. I love Jordan Bone. He's very athletic. His shot form is kind of weird. He stays in the air too long, if you know what I mean. Like I'll see him shoot, then he jumps too high, stays in the air for too long, then shoots. So, but Derrick Rose, I think will be so beneficial to Jordan Bone. I think Jordan Bone can learn so much from Derrick Rose. Yeah, I would probably go with Bruce Brown and Jordan Bone.
Okay. I do want to say one thing about Bruce Brown. Bruce Brown has a specific moment that to me is a goated moment. Y'all might remember it. I'll never forget it. It's when he looked at Dario Saric like he was crazy. He was like, boy, I will whoop your ass right here. And like,
that's what I love about Bruce,
I got
man.
it saved in my phone. He looked at Dario like, boy, he like, you don't know. So when you were talking about that dog mentality, yeah, Bruce has a moment that has me forever goated. He's forever goated for that. He looking at Dario like, bro, you don't know who you messing with, man. But all right, man, let's get to some of these questions. We got, how good do you think Patton will be on the Pistons? Well, that's even if he makes the team. But we're gonna go with you, Nick.
Super short answer. It's just a matter of if he gets opportunity. As far as what his ceiling could be is super relative. I couldn't exactly. I'm not going to sit here and. I feel like people in Pistons Twitter and NBA Twitter too often try to be these like pinnacles of knowledge, and it's like it's okay to admit when you don't know a lot about something. I'm going to be honest. I couldn't exactly tell you how good I think Justin Patton could be. It's really just going to be a matter of opportunity, and then
that's exactly what it is. Because
we'll just take it from there.
When you have these young developmental players, it's up to which developmental players are going to get the reps. Like everybody don't get those reps, and if he gets those reps, he can be productive. Anybody else got some thoughts on this?
I can add in here quickly.
Go ahead,
bro.
I think if he really get the opportunity, he could be our potential starting five, and you got to give him the opportunity. He's the former 16-round pick, 2017. I think he looks nice. So if he gets the opportunity, I can see him better than John Henson, Tom Maker.
I mean, it's not like his competition and stuff. But and my thing with him is like, I know people are like you, Nick, and I'm kind of like that. They don't know much, but this is my thing. Don't look at his numbers and judge him because one, he was injured. Second, he played for OKC. We know OKC has had they had Nerlens Noel and Steven Adams there for like the past 2 or 3 years, and he's only been in the league for 2 or 3 years, and he's been injured, so he hasn't really had the opportunity to even play when he was healthy. So that's that. So he hasn't really had the opportunity. He's been hurt, so we have to see if he has something left. B-Ball Gracious says, what does Luke Kennard need to do to avoid missing games again? I would say, I don't know how to just say stay healthy, but stay healthy. Would you say?
Okay.
Nick?
I said don't get hurt. Yeah.
Right. Like, stay healthy. But say, no, let me talk
He's
about
not wrong.
Me and B-Ball, we had this whole debate about he thinks Luke Kennard bilateral knee soreness is because he's lazy and he doesn't work out. He says you only get those type of injuries or jumper's knee, what you call it, by not working out, because he said he's not stretching his muscles and his tendons and everything. And we were discussing it. I completely disagree. I'm like, well, he played 32 minutes a game, had the best season of his career. I think his work ethic is really good. And jumper's knee, you get that from shooting jump shots. So that means shooting too many damn jump
in the gym
shots.
too much. Yeah.
So I know what you're saying, B-Ball. He needs to work out and strengthen himself, but I don't think his injury came from him not being conditioned. It's just he probably overworked himself. Like, I mean, and we saw the proof in the pudding, man. Like he came out and had his best season of his career. I think he worked hard. Like I mean, although I disagree with you, Nick, Bruce Brown should have never been starting over Luke. But
I
Luke
get
was
it.
very upset about that, and he was like, "All right, I'm gonna force you to start me then, because I'm gonna be too nice." And that's what happened. So that's how it is. But anybody got any comments on what does Luke need to avoid to being injured again?
I don't
Pretty
know
much,
what a whole lot you can do to avoid it. It's neat.
it's basketball.
It's like
All right.
it's like a problem. Like there's not a whole lot. Like you can't work that out. I mean, you can like. I think they got shots.
Well, no, that's because he thinks it's a conditioning thing.
It's not though.
Yeah, it's not.
It's like I think it's a form of arthritis. If I'm not mistaken.
No.
I'm not
It's
the doctor,
not-
bro. It's not my territory. I'm terrible with anatomy and stuff like that. But I know it hurts.
I'm going to evaluate it a little bit more.
Okay,
I know
it's a
it's
straightforward answer. Sorry to interrupt, but tendonitis, you treat tendonitis by rest. So he just needs load management. I hate to say it. That's how
He's Kawhi, bro. That's what I'm trying to say, bro. He Kawhi with the knees, dog. Like him and Blake, dog. What's up with these knees? I mean, we know great players like knees is a basketball injury, but all right, I got another question. It says, what free agent center do you think will be good for the Pistons? Serge Ibaka, Mark Gasol. Now, anybody?
Well,
Jaleel Okafor.
I'm a Flint native, so I have to go with JaVale McGee.
Oh, I like that a lot. I've never even thought about that. Oh, I like that. I like that a lot. I've never thought about Jaleel Okafor. Wow.
I mean, he's like a guy who you want to. This all ties back together. We want to talk about how the Sixers tanked for like however many years, and yeah, they drafted some key pieces, but they also had some misses. Jaleel Okafor was one of those misses. A guy who's like not great, but it's like there's probably some good basketball in there somewhere. I don't know. Why not?
Yeah.
I've seen. Well, you know, I've been watching the Pelicans since last year when the trade rumor started. That's how long I've been watching. And we seen what he did to Andre Drummond. Jaleel Okafor can still play basketball. He can be a starting center in his league. Now I'm not saying 100%. He's the all-star, but he can give you 15 and 8. Like he can be a starter like Jaleel, and when like he's not good on defense, so that's not what he's gonna do for you. But he can put the ball in the basket and he'll give out some effort. And you know, it's about giving players a resurgence. Maybe if he comes here and like we tell him he'll start, maybe he'll play harder. But what was you gonna say, Drew?
I just gotta go with the Flint boys since I'm from Flint. Gotta go JaVale McGee, man.
All right.
Nice, Drew.
McGee. Another question. Can Kyrie Thomas get a chance if we have Sweet and Luke Kennard? I think they're going to give him a chance because of what I was talking about earlier. I'm just looking at it. If the Pistons were like the Pistons, they would have got rid of Kyrie Thomas by now.
Yeah, 100%.
That's how I feel. But they're so invested in him. So I think they're going to forcibly give him a chance because of that. And Luke Kennard's not going to be out. He might play one game. Like, he ain't going to be out there like that. He's just going to get some reps, ball out, and then that's going to be that. And Benjamin Foe says, will Thon learn to catch the ball next year? I'm going to just tell you, I don't like rhetorical questions.
The only maker I care about is his brother came into HBCU. That's the only thing.
Yeah.
I'm staying away from the Maker family.
Hey, man, he going to be low-key. He's going to be way better than Thon, though.
He is going to be way better than Thon. It's not going to be a question.
Like, hey, he nice.
He's nice.
Okay, can we try to get some of the Knicks young guys like Dennis Smith Jr., Frank, or Knox? We talked about the Knicks. Last week we talked about Alonzo Trier. I would definitely take Alonzo Trier. I would take Dennis Smith Jr. I would take Kevin Knox. But I don't know. I don't want Frank Ntilikina, bro. Stop it. I don't want Bruce Brown light. He a worse version of Bruce Brown. Why would I want him? I'm sorry, but like, I don't know why New York fans are obsessed with him. I don't know why Pistons fans are obsessed with him. I've heard Bravo mention him. What do y'all see in this dude? He don't got it. But no, but any of the Knicks players, Bravo, any of the Knicks players you would want? I think he's breaking up. What about you, Drew?
The Mavericks are my second team outside of the Pistons I've always rooted for, so I got to watch a lot of Dennis Smith Jr. But when he went to New York, he's like disappeared and
worse.
wasn't the guy that like everyone thought he was going to be. And again, I don't know if that's because the Knicks don't know what the hell they're doing right now, or if they have a plan, if he's part of the future or not. I don't really know. But if we don't get a point guard, I think it's worth a shot. I don't think the Knicks are going to want that much in return. It'll be a low ball offer. Get him for dirt cheap. If it doesn't work out, let him expire. You can trade him away for nothing and cut your losses and go find the point guard that you need.
I'm gonna tell you right now.
His potential could be really good. I don't know what's happening.
I can't not believe that Dennis Smith can be a good player. Like, you don't just get worse unless like something happens. I'm just be honest with you. NBA, like that rookie year, he was very good, and I just think that he went to the Knicks. They ruined him even worse, and on top of ruining his game, they ruined his reputation. Now people think he trash, and that's not it. I would definitely take a chance on him, give him an opportunity when you have his skills and that his athleticism and the dog in him. Like, I'm so upset with the Knicks destroying that young man. Like, he had a bright future. He still might have one, but they destroyed him. Like, Dennis Smith was one of the highly touted guys from that class, and if we pair him with Luke Kennard, I like that. But anybody else, any other Knicks players that you guys would want?
I agree with you, J-Mo, on Dennis Smith. I think Dennis Smith is a good player. He was a good player in Dallas, but the Knicks completely just destroyed him. You know, the game planning was horrible. They didn't use him right. It's the Knicks after all. So, I mean, you can't – I mean, what did you expect to happen? So, I would definitely take a chance on Dennis Smith Jr. I'm not – but the Frank Ntilikina thing, I'm not going to sit here and say I know a lot about him or Kevin Knox for that matter. Like, I haven't done my research on Frank Ntilikina, Kevin Knox, even though I should have. So I don't really have an opinion on that. I'm not gonna have an opinion on something I know nothing about. So,
well, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, man. I got beef from Ntilikina because Knicks fans was telling me he was better than Lonzo. I mean, bro, he ain't better. He half a Bruce Brown, dog. Stop talking.
I was gonna say something.
Go ahead.
Yeah, but I was gonna bring up Kevin Knox. I know y'all remember that summer league that man had.
No, hey man,
what happened to him?
He ripped the ball out of the MVP hands. Leave him alone.
Like, what happened to him, man?
But so after he did that to Giannis, you can't make fun of people. Giannis is literally a top 2-3 player in the NBA, about to be back-to-back MVP. Zion, even though Giannis kind of dominated him that game, Zion was like, "Get that ball, bro. You don't need that. That's mine, dog." And this was Giannis. Giannis looked at him like, "Bro, what just happened, dog?"
No, I'm talking about the first summer league. No, his first summer league where he dominated, and then he just ended up being.
Okay, not when he got embarrassed by Zion. Yes, I do remember. I'm high on Kevin.
I don't understand. Like, what did Knicks do to him, man? It's weird.
What they did to everybody. Name me one player the Knicks has developed in the last 15 years.
Well, yeah, we thought Lonzo Trier was gonna be good, and they ruined him too. So
Kristaps Porzingis.
Yeah, I was just about to say that.
You say they developed him. He better now. I mean, he was just good. Like
Okay, that's fair. Like
he's just like too talented.
Yeah.
But as y'all see this question up here, what do the Pistons need to do to make moves for it to be successful off season 1? I don't know how y'all gonna do it, but you gotta get Serge Ibaka. I don't know why I want him so bad, but I do.
I don't either.
I want Serge Ibaka. I think he's a great player, man. He still got a lot.
No, you don't. No, that's exactly the damn problem with him. There's good basketball in him, but there's good basketball. Here's the issue with Detroit going into next season. I'm sorry, I don't mean to completely hijack this. I'm sorry, I don't mean to do that. Here's the fundamental issue that the Detroit Pistons have created for themselves. You go into next season, essentially, even if you have the roster that you have now, it's going to be fine. Plus, you're going to get whatever free agents. You're going to draft whoever you draft. You realize the Pistons are going to be too good to be bad next year. You have Blake Griffin coming back. You have
last week.
You have Derrick Rose coming back. Like
we were talking about something, and I was just saying, like, the Pistons are in a position. We were talking about tanking. Me and Sekou got net, and I'm like, why would we're not in a position to tank? And even if we tried our worst to be bad, we still gonna win 34, 35 games. So you might as well try to win games.
And here's the silver lining to that, right? If nothing else, the Pelicans got Zion after winning 33 games. With the way that the lottery is structured, like it can happen, 1 in a million that the Pelicans actually did that. It just really sucks because it's like you almost can't actually do your rebuild because you have too many good players on your team. Like, no, you're not a good team by any stretch of the imagination, but it's entirely within the realm of possibility to think, damn, like this team's going to be pushing for the playoffs next season just because like they actually have a decent enough roster in a relatively kind of meh East. I don't know. It sucks. So like, what do you do this offseason? It makes sense to not trade Derrick Rose, but it also makes sense to trade him. Kind of one of those weird things. Whoever you get in,
like, if you can get value for Rose, you trade him. But I just wouldn't. That's just me. I'm not trading him unless he wants to be traded. But I'm exactly how the Pistons did. Like, you want to be traded, we'll trade. You don't want to be traded,
100%.
You'll stay, and we'll just let you go. You don't always have to get return for every single player. Sometimes you just let players play out their contract. But you sign Christian Wood, you find a good backup center, and you draft LaMelo, Killian Hayes, Anthony Edwards, Danny Abdia, Kira Lewis, or Obi Toppin. That's what you do. I don't know why I had that certain list, but that's just the list I came up with.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
But like, you draft one of those guys and you do what I said. Drew, you got something on this?
First and foremost, you have to get a good lottery pick, and if you don't, you need to go ahead and draft a point guard. I'm usually on the draft the best player available stance, but this time, like just looking at free agency, there's just not really any point guards that can come in here and really make us a better team.
Yeah.
So I almost want to just draft a point guard wherever we're at. And then step 2 would be re-sign Christian Wood. Re-sign him. The Pistons, if they draft a point guard, re-sign Christian Wood, should be a top team offensively. They could do it a couple different starting lineups, but you would have Blake at the 4, Wood at the 5. You're going to be undersized. You play bigger matchups. You're going to get bullied down there. Luke Kennard and Mihailo don't play great defense. They try, but it's not the calling card. Defensively, we're probably going to suck. But offensively, we will have a better team. So it's going to be just whoever gets the ball last kind of a season. Probably some high points, some very low points. Win 4, lose 5, win 6, lose 4, something along those lines where it's like up and down kind of a season. But
that's what I said. We like 30, between 30 and like probably 34 and 43 wins.
Somewhere in the ballpark. But it should be a fun team to watch if that happens. There'll be a lot of highlights.
Yeah, but Nick, that's why you get Serge Ibaka, because if you want to start Christian Wood, you need a dog to replace him off the bench. I don't hire like
at
Serge.
That point,
what are you talking about? Serge is nice.
At that point, bring back John Henson for $2.5 million. At that point, honestly, just extend.
Serge Ibaka is a winning player, man. He know how to play.
But we're not trying to win. Like that's not what we're trying to do right now.
If we make the playoffs, you want to get swept again, or you want to have somebody that's gonna not let us get swept?
I'd rather not make the playoffs.
And I don't think we're trying to win. I think we're making the playoffs. I think they're trying to make the playoffs. I don't think they're.
Why are we aiming? I mean, we went over this last week, so let's not try
because
to get.
We're not tanking.
Okay, but why are we aiming and fighting for this 8 seed when we could just get?
We probably win
5 more games. And if we could just lose 5 more games and have a better lottery instead of fighting for the 8 spot, so we could get swept.
I don't believe it.
Well, in all the defense of the season continue, we would have lost 5 games.
Tanking does not work, man. What if the Pistons go after Fred VanVleet?
Can you guys hear me?
Hold on. What if? I think they are going to go after Fred VanVleet, and I'm pissed about it, but whatever. Anybody got some comments on that?
Let Nick say something real quick.
I have so many things to say. First of all, tanking does work. That's why they restructured the lottery. Any thoughts there?
Exactly.
Nick,
you're reading my mind, bro.
It's really hit and miss, though. Look at Philadelphia. They tanked for what? I want to say 6 years?
6 or 7 years.
6 or 7 years. And they only got 2 of them right.
In a 2 of them, yeah, right.
Okay, but look at their management opposed to our management. There's my point there.
What you talking about?
Last time we had a top 3 pick, we drafted Darko.
Yeah.
Right. I think they're
okay, but that doesn't mean anything because there's completely different people in the organization.
It's true, but we have just
Elton Brand, bro.
We had SVG here, and look at all the list of people that we passed up on. Like, this organization is terrible at drafting.
I don't like doing that shit. I hate when I'm not trying to be disrespectful to you.
Exactly.
I fucking hate when people do that. It's the most annoying shit in the world. Oh my gosh, look at how many players the Pistons have passed on. All the teams that were in front of us passed on those same goddamn players.
True.
This is something I actually
But
talked
none of
about.
those teams picked Darko. It's a
Dude,
difference.
how many years ago was that?
Indefensible. No sane Piston fan is gonna be like, well, it wasn't a bet. Like, we know Darko was a miss. That was 17 years ago. Get the fuck over it.
Too, but
I know what you're saying.
But at the time, Darko was a top prospect.
100%. And Joe
Carmelo
Dumars
won
wouldn't
the
get over it.
championship, man, dog. Stop talking.
Yes, that
He
is
won the
also true.
championship.
This is something I talked to when I was playing. Like, okay, so I don't know if Evan, I don't know how many of you guys know this or how many people are watching this know this, but like Luke Kennard and I are like, we're pretty good friends, right? This is something that I talked to him about. I said, do you know that like people have kind of created this sort of like rivalry between you and Donovan Mitchell? Like, are you aware of that? And he's like, yeah. And I go, how much does that annoy you? He goes, it doesn't annoy me a lot, but he goes, it does kind of piss me off that like they don't do that with anybody else. Like, they're not, I don't remember who picked in front of us, but it's like whoever picked in front of us, they don't do that with Donovan Mitchell. He's like, why is it only me? I don't really understand that. And he's like, we're both good players. Obviously,
I wanted to be here, and we passed on.
That's true. But
on Luke Kennard,
the principle here is like,
because I love Luke. They know this, but
100%.
Dude, you're like the biggest Luke fan I've ever met.
I'm telling you, Luke is the GOAT, bro. Y'all sleeping on the GOAT, bro. That's a young all-star right there, man.
I remember I wrote an article. What was the question here? Are we doing the Fred VanVleet question?
Yeah, we were talking about we veered over to like side lane somewhere, but like we was talking about like Fred VanVleet. Yeah.
Someone else can answer. If people want to sign Fred VanVleet, I think they're dumb, but someone else can answer that.
Oh, they want to sign VanVleet.
I told you, I don't want us to, but I think I'm like 85% sure we're getting Fred VanVleet. They just been talking too much about him, and they just had that video. Pistons are still in the running. They still want VanVleet. I'm like, what if he about to go get his guy, say F you to all of our point guards, and give him all the minutes? Like, and I'm not saying VanVleet isn't good. No, he's very good. 17-6, good percentages. He's good. But I want to go younger. I don't want Fred VanVleet. Like, that's how I am. It's not like it's not like it has nothing to do with him as a basketball player. He's a good basketball player.
I will lose all my optimism for this season.
He's a better playmaker than most of the people on our team. But instead of paying him, I would rather go younger and like give one of those young guys the opportunity. We still got Jordan Bond and Kyrie Thomas. I didn't want Derrick Rose last year because I wanted our guards to get more opportunity. So I'm gonna say the same thing about VanVleet.
Mm-hmm.
But if we give VanVleet though, is he gonna make us better? Not by much.
I mean, we're
going to be in the same position we are right now. Like,
I don't know.
Getting better, we're going to be a 7th or 8th seed. Like, we're not going to do anything.
Yeah, he can score, he can shoot, he can play defense, he can play mate. He'll definitely help us.
But for what though? Like, if Ed Stefanski is not in the course of 12 months going to reiterate time and time again, this is a rebuild, and then say, I don't know, like maybe we should go for the playoffs again. Like, no, this is a rebuild, and you cannot rebuild on the fly. We've spent the better part of a decade doing that. It does not work. Like,
what's his name?
There's a fine.
It's a retool.
There's a fine line between.
You can't rebuild when you got a top player on your team. So as long as Blake here, that rebuild is in flux.
I agree with that.
My whole point. That's why I'm like, make the playoffs. Let's say who gets some reps in the playoff because Luke Kennard and Bruce Brown, those playoff minutes were valuable. I feel, especially Luke. He was out of this world, great. So we made the 8th or 7th seed. I'm never gonna be upset if my team wins. I know, like I said, I know that we're trying to rebuild, but trade Blake. That will let me know you're trying to rebuild for real.
Yeah.
And I know his trade market isn't hot. We know this. But if you really trying to rebuild, he's gone. But as long as he's here, I'm thinking you're trying to win games. Derrick Rose still here. Why would they be here if you ain't trying to win games?
Because there's no trade market for them.
I guess, right?
There's no market for them.
Well, I think there is a market for Derrick Rose.
We were told that there wasn't.
Blake is Blake.
Yeah, but what I was going to say about Fred.
The Wolves said they wanted him back, but I don't know what they were willing to offer.
Yeah, but what I was going to say about Fred VanVleet, to me, my problem is like if we're going to get him, first of all, we're gonna have to overpay him. Second of all, I mean, we're gonna ask Fred VanVleet to play a role that he's never ever played in his career. I mean, because like in Toronto, he's mostly playing shooting guard. We're gonna ask him to play point guard. So it's like, what are we doing here by picking him up? We're asking him to play a role that he's never played before, and we're hoping he's gonna be, he's gonna be that point guard of our future. But it's kind of a tough expectation.
Bravo has some technical difficulties, y'all.
Yeah.
Hold on. You make a brilliant point.
Yeah.
We're asking him to be something he's not. We asking him to be a starting point guard. He's averaging 6 assists. He is, but he's playing with Kyle Lowry too, though. And Kyle Lowry, no matter how much I'm low on him, he's always been a great playmaker, no matter what. That's been his best attribute, in my opinion. So it is what it is. But this is the last question we're gonna do. We're gonna wrap up the show. We've been on for 2 hours. Shout out to everybody for coming by for the special July 4th show. I mean, I hear all these fireworks in the background. They're going crazy out there. But last question: how much does Tom Gores actually want to rebuild? I feel like he wants to push for the playoffs. And yeah, that's what we were just talking about. As long as Blake is here, I believe this. I believe he's trying to win games. Because if you weren't trying, the market wasn't good for Andre, and you still traded him for a bag of chips with no remorse. What's the difference with Blake? And I think you can get more. So I just feel like as long as he's on the team, they're still trying to win games, and you got to look at the East. Because if I'm the Pistons, I'm looking like, well, if we're healthy, we probably could make it. So let's just see what happens. And we don't know what the player we draft is going to do. Anybody got some thoughts on that?
Yeah, look. Tom Gores and Ed Stefanski work very closely. He said it multiple times, and Ed Stefanski has said multiple times that this is a rebuild. So, yeah, Tom Gores.
Is Ed Stefanski still the GM?
No, he's the senior advisor.
Senior advisor, yeah.
Right. And what the GM say? He said it's a retool, not a rebuild. That's what he said.
Okay, well, it's
interchangeable, man.
Yeah,
it's just to make us feel better. It's the same damn thing.
Dude, it is. He's literally saying it's a rebuild. He's just trying to put it in different words. It's a rebuild, man. I think Tom Gores agreed to a rebuild. I don't think he knows what's going on. He doesn't want to push for the playoffs, which is smart. So
let me say this. So if the theory here is that if we weren't trying to win, we would have traded Blake Griffin. When would we have done that?
Exactly.
Because from the time that we decided that this was a rebuild, say that again. No, not at any time. He's been hurt the entire time. Like there's not going to be a market for him.
Yeah.
So you have to wait.
The team, they wouldn't want Blake at all.
No, because they don't know how he's going to return. You're not going to trade for Blake Griffin when he in the Milwaukee Bucks series, right? Between game 2 and game 3, we're told if you play on this knee, there's you're going to be fine. You can't do any worse damage. So he's like, fine, I'll play. Plays games 3 and 4. It's evident from the preseason this year that Blake is not okay. Like something is wrong. We get into December and he says, fuck, I have to get season-ending surgery. Why would a team trade for him when they don't know how he's going to return? They're not going to give you – it's not about – a guy who's been injury-prone his entire career. You want to get pissed off about –
he's still a top 15 player. I would sell on that. I definitely would.
If you're trying to contend, right? You're trying to maximize your championship window. Let me ask you this: if you have a guy like Aaron Gordon, or you can trade for Blake Griffin right now, you got to sell the house for one of them. Who are you doing right now? Who do you feel more comfortable with right now?
Blake Griffin.
That's insane. That is insane.
I don't think Aaron Gordon is that good.
My point is, that Blake Griffin couldn't.
Blake Griffin over Aaron Gordon every day.
It's not about who's best at their peak, because obviously.
No, I get that, but I would still take Blake now with the prospect of his injury being in murky in the water. I'm taking him over Aaron Gordon, definitely.
To me, the biggest problem with Blake is really just his contract and the fact that he's getting older and he's injury prone. I mean, Aaron Gordon's straight. I mean, he's just none. I mean, I think Aaron Gordon, he has a lot of, he's actually a solid player, to be honest, but he's developing an outside shot. But I think that's a tough question, because if you look at Blake, he's really good at his peak, but
not in the same realm.
His age and his contract.
The prospect of an injured Blake over Aaron Gordon. Like, Aaron Gordon is Christian Wood level right now. He's not gonna move the needle. And my thing, it's not just about like if we traded Blake, then we're tanking. Like I'm listening to what the GM saying. I know if we go out, if Blake is healthy, there's no way we're rebuilding. We know this. We could have tried to rebuild when we got him, but he was playing. If he's healthy, we're not rebuilding. That's just simple. Now, if he's missing 40, 50 games, yeah, we're gonna be rebuilding because we're gonna suck. It's that simple. But as long as he's healthy, and I know that's a big if, but I think he can play 65 games. So if he's playing that, we're gonna be trying to make the playoffs. And then Luke Kennard missed; he only played 28 games. I don't think that's gonna happen again. Seiku's going to improve. Derrick Rose was one of the healthiest he's ever been. So I think that's matter. But we're going to wrap it up. Shout out to Bravo for joining us. Had some technical difficulties. But we're going to do final thoughts now. Shout out to everybody in the chat. If you haven't liked the video, make sure you like the video. We've been going way too long. This is ridiculous. We got stuff to do still. Night ain't over. But go ahead, CA3, man. Final thoughts.
I understand I joined late, but it was still nice to be on. Especially since I've been on for like 2 weeks. So it was nice talking to you guys again, and especially just talking about my favorite team, just talking about basketball in general. So it was nice being back on here. And thank you guys for it.
My favorite team, but you're wearing a Hawks jersey. Had to.
I got a bunch of Pistons jersey.
I know, bro. I just had to, bro. Like you can't say it's your favorite team. You wearing that, man. Otherwise, I'll be like I have like 20 Lion shirts, so I just try not to wear them. Like, what I'm gonna wear them during the Pistons show? I'm not, but so it is what it is. But say you got next, man. Final thoughts.
I think I had an amazing time tonight. I had amazing time as always. J-Mo, Drew, CA3, Nick. Thank you for coming on. We had a great time with you tonight. We had a lot of great discussions. It's Free Smoke Saturday. I hope everybody has an amazing rest of their night. Go enjoy some fireworks, some food, etc. I hope everyone had a great 4th of July so far. Everyone. It was a great show. I'm looking forward to next week. And Sekou Nuboya 2026 MVP.
Jesus Christ.
He's committed.
Hey, he's higher on Sekou. Like, hey, I'll say he's as high on Sekou as I am on Lonzo. How about that?
I'm the biggest Sekou fan in the world, bro.
Hey, from his words to our ears. Detroit. No, hold up. Nicholas, man. Wrap it up, man. You got some final thoughts. Thank you for joining us today, man. It was very fun, bro.
Yeah. Like I said, when we started, I was just really excited to be able to talk basketball again. So I really sincerely appreciate you guys having me on. Super duper fun. Maybe next time I'll just like drink a bunch of beer the whole time, so that way my takes get worse and worse as this goes on. Yeah. No. I appreciate it though, guys. Thank you.
Thanks, man. It's always great to have people on here to talk Pistons that know some basketball. We just out here trying to build a community for all Detroit sports, especially my Pistons. There's not a lot of people that talk about the Pistons because, outside forces don't really care enough, but we do care. We just trying to be a great team. We just trying to be better. Shout out to all the fans and everybody that showed up today. We love you guys. All right, Detroit, Drew, final thoughts, man.
All I gotta say, man, is we gotta find a date that you and Koo are free because, dude, we will talk about one topic and it will be everywhere, facts backing up both sides. It will be amazing. But appreciate you, man, for coming on. It was definitely cool to have some different inputs and different thoughts to the show. Make sure everyone you go check him out, follow him on Twitter, go to his Spotify, listen to his podcast, man. But as far as the Pistons, man, I just want basketball to be back. I can't wait for everything to get back to normal. We're a long ways away from that, but the most important thing is for everyone to stay safe out there, take all the safety precautions, and it's really all I got for it. I got nothing else to plug.
Hey, I ain't get it. It's that way because Detroit Drew said so. He turned right now.
Yeah. It was a long night yesterday too, so it was like I'm half-assed recovering from that, but I'm still like feeling it from yesterday.
Man, it's all good. It's all good, man. But shout out to all of my business fans. And I just want to say, as always, this was a great show. I just hope we make some better moves. Go out there, get some players to make your team better. And I still trust Troy. With whatever Troy Weaver does in the draft, I'm gonna trust him unless that player becomes trash. Then I'll never trust you again. All I said, like, until my trust is broken, I'm gonna trust you because according to what I've seen, like now when you pick mid and mid round is not that good, but when you pick in top 10, you always pick a great player. So go out and get that great player for us, man. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Shout out to everybody that joined us today. As always, it's Free Smoke Saturday, man. July 4th special. All right, man. We out of here. Have a good night, y'all.